Commission, regular meeting. It's Tuesday, July 30th, 2019 at 7:22 p.m. We apologize for the delay. We've had a little bit of a long night tonight. Can you please call the roll?
Mayor Llewellyn,
Here.
Vice Mayor Odman,
Here.
Commissioner Brandemart,
Here.
Commissioner Harris,
Here.
Commissioner James,
Here.
City Manager Garcia,
Here.
City Attorney Ansbro.
Here.
Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. If we could please have a moment of silence. Thank you. First, the next item is our presentations and special event approvals. And the first item on our agenda is the swearing in of BSO Captain Sergio Pellicer as Dania Beach District Fire Chief. Stand up for just a second. I'm actually going to come down in a minute and swear the chief in. I just wanted to say a few words. I know that there are a number of very important people here tonight to come and see the swearing in. I don't have all the names. We've been running a little late tonight, so I know Chief Holness will announce everybody that's here for us. But in the meantime, I just wanted to say, just let people know a little bit about Sergio if you don't know him already. He's been with Dania Beach since 1990. He worked for the Dania Beach Fire Department before we joined BSO, and he's continued on with BSO since then. And he's worked over in Station 1 since that time. So he knows our city, and he's come up through the ranks over the years. He's also on the Fire Rescue Bike Team, and he's the Vice President of the local union, number 4321. And he's married, and I believe you have 3 sons that are all here and all firefighter paramedics as well. So we have a great addition as our new fire chief. And with that, I'm going to come down and swear him in. We'll go right by the microphone here, okay? You ready? Okay, ready? I, Sergio Pellicer,
I, Sergio Pellicer,
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Florida against all enemies, both foreign and domestic,
and the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
both foreign and domestic,
both foreign and domestic.
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge my duties
And I will faithfully
and impartially
and impartially discharge all my duties
as District Chief for Fire of the City of Dania Beach,
as District Chief for Fire for the City of Dania Beach,
under appointment of the Broward Sheriff's Office,
under appointment for the Broward Sheriff's Office,
according to the laws of the state of Florida
according to the laws of the state of Florida
and Broward County,
and Broward County,
to the best of my skills and abilities,
to the best of my skills and abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
This evening, everybody. Usually this is called a blood pinning, but since he's wearing a white shirt, we'll forego that. But with us, we have Under Sheriff Sean Zakowski, Colonel Sean Zakowski, who's representing Sheriff Gregory Toney, and Deputy Chief Timothy Keefe, representing Fire Chief Joseph Fernandez, who unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. So I know the Under Sheriff would like to say a few words.
And I promise it will just be a few. Again, please, on behalf of Sheriff Toney, who sends his regrets for not being here in person, but a heartfelt congratulations. But very well-deserved promotion and rank, and most importantly, responsibility. We're thrilled that the city has recognized your service to this city and the county, and we're privileged to have you amongst our ranks, and we thank you for your service and loyalty to the agency and the city. So congratulations, we're proud of you and expect more great things from you, and thank you to the city as our partners and the city manager for supporting this move. But thank you and congratulations.
And so that your wife doesn't get left out, here's a bouquet of flowers for you. And last but not least, your troops from Station 1. They have something for you.
Just wanted to congratulate you for getting promoted. Getting an axe. You got that?
Some. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Thanks, Tom. Picture.
Picture time.
Don't blink this time.
Congrats, man. Thank you. Want me to take one?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Glenn. All right. First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Madam Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, Assistant City Manager, Sheriff for being here. I want to thank you for your trust and commitment to enhance the fire rescue service here in Dania Beach. I would like to thank Sheriff Tony and Chief Hernandez and all the command staff for their belief in me. Most importantly, I want to thank my family and friends for being here tonight. I couldn't do this without you. And as you can see by all the firefighters here tonight, they too are my family. You know, they are my backbone, and at the same time, they're my biggest critic. So I understand that. This job comes with a lot of responsibility. I have another family, that's the city of Dania Beach. The citizens and staff of Dania Beach are my family. I started working here as a firefighter in 1990, and I've never looked back. In 2011, Dania Beach merged with Broward Sheriff's Office, and with this merger, Dania Beach enhanced its fire services, and I look forward to improving this relationship even more. Since my beginnings as a firefighter, I've seen tremendous growth in this city. My city, as I say tonight, my city is strong. And I promise to work with you as hard as I possibly can and keep all of the citizens here safe and enhance the fire rescue service to the best it can be. Thank you.
And Chief, I know all the commissioners here would like to say congratulations to you, and I know we want to get a picture with you as well to celebrate this momentous occasion.
I'm going to do my first report.
Okay, and in order that the chief may go and celebrate with his family and friends, we're going to take him out of turn, and as his first official duty, he's going to come and give us a presentation as to what's going on with VSO Fire.
All right, again, I want to say thank you for your belief in me. And like I said, I will always promise to do my very best for all of you. And you all have my number now, so you can call me at any time, Chicky.
Wait, don't say Chicky. Let me tell you something. I don't want to lose you to being the chief. Do you know how many times you took me to the hospital? Do you know
Only a couple.
how many times you answered my front door? I feel like I'm losing you to a chief. And how could you be a chief when all you do is work?
He's going to work even
I'll
harder
never
now.
understand that, whether I see you in Publix with the guys getting to cook, but you're always working. I don't want to lose you ever. You know that. You
You're not
saved me
losing
so
me.
many
You're having
times.
me here every single day.
I hope so. I love you too. You know that.
Well, thank you.
I've got a couple of buttons pushed. I'm not sure if anybody, go ahead, Commissioner James.
I think he was in front. Okay. I just wanted to congratulate you once again, and I think that we've gained a valuable member of our team. I know we have. You've been in the city since I was 6, and to see it, not to tell your age, but this is definitely a well-deserved position, and it shows that we have very valuable people that have been working and that have longevity in this city and that deserve these chances. And I'm so glad that you are recognized, and I am sure that you will do a fabulous job alongside of us, and I'm sure we'll be blowing your phone up. So welcome to the family again.
Thank you.
Commissioner Harris?
Congratulations. First of all, everybody in uniform tonight, thank you for your service. We are honored to have you all here. And as the population of Broward County is currently at about 1.9 million people, estimated to grow to 2.3 million people over the next 5 years, I'm glad we have a seasoned professional in our area to help not only protect us, but our property, and be an integral part of the growth that we are experiencing, not just today, but over the next 5 years. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
I just want to echo the sentiments of my colleagues. We really could not have a better choice in you here. And I know that the city is going to be better for it. It's going to be safer for it. And when I see the people who surround you, your friends, your 3 sons, your family, I just feel so confident in what your service will help bring as a chief to the city. And I'm so proud to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And just thank you again, Chief. I like to call you that. Sounds good. And I'm really glad that we have somebody here who knows the city so well, has been here for so long, knows the people who live here, and can support things. And you know our needs. You know what the needs are, and I know you've already been going around and meeting with people and setting up meetings, and I think that's fantastic. That's what we need. So welcome again. Thank you. And you may proceed with your report.
All right, well, I'll take one more than a personal privilege here. Also, my 2 brothers are twins, not that you can tell them apart, but they're also in the fire service, so my whole family is dedicated to the
All
fire
firefighters,
service.
yeah.
And I just want to make sure, and like I said, I have a huge family behind me, and I'm very blessed. So as my first report, just between last month of the 25th through today, we've run 601 calls, averaging about 17 to 18 calls per day. Our fire inspections are 85% complete right now. We're on target to hit 100% by September 30th. And just through the leadership of the city manager and the assistant city manager, we've been meeting with all the staff members and just getting to know each other. So God forbid we have a hurricane, we're prepared. You know, I'm lucky to be under good leadership, and I'm blessed to be able to bring, all of us together so that we're ready and prepared for a hurricane. I made sure that, in the last couple of weeks that our fire marshal's office visited all the nursing homes to make sure we don't have any issues there. They're all up to par. They're all 100% compliant, as we know. And my next goal will be to get the firefighters to go out there and just, put, not that they don't go there every day now on calls, but also just to be familiar with everything in case something went wrong. The next thing we have is in November, we'll have our ISO rating, so we're going to prepare for that. And I'm ready to go. I'm excited to be here. I'm going to work my butt off, I promise that. And I'll give you the best that I can give you every single day that I'm here.
Thank you, Chief. We'll see you next month.
That's so good.
Sweet. Okay, we're going to go back to the regular agenda. Next presentation is presentation of certificates of acknowledgement to the Parks, Recreation, and Community Affairs Advisory Board members for their service to the community and board. And Parks and Recreation Department Most Valuable Employees presentations. And we'll wait to start with that until everybody leaves, because I know there's a group of people leaving. Maybe. I know that. No, I know that. They didn't have a quorum for part of it, and they always take the summer off. Okay. Because I used to be on the rest. Okay. I know there's a number of people going back to the Northwest Conference Room, I believe, for the Chief's
Yes.
cake. Cake.
Did somebody say cake?
So everybody else there, just come on up into the room. We're going to close the partition so that they can make all the noise they want out there.
Yeah.
Come on up. And then we will close the partitions.
Who's the awards anyway?
Scratching up my blue doors now.
Or just having
All that work, all that work. And
Who got Parks and Recreation Community Advisory Board members?
Okay,
Oh, come on.
ready?
Community and board.
Okay. Go ahead, Director.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney, Eric Brown, Parks and Recreation Director. And we are here today in recognition of Parks and Recreation Month, which is the month of July. And during our recognition, we want to recognize our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for the fine, excellent work that they do and the dedication services that they provide. So Raphael will call him up. He'll hand the certificate to me. And as he calls your name, will you please come up to the podium?
Who is it?
All right, so Ms. Joyce Davis, come on up.
Joyce Davis. Me either.
And it reads in recognition of your dedicated services to the City of Dania Beach Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
Sharon Michikowski.
We'll get one picture. Congratulations. Thank you.
Morris Goldwire.
Oh, yeah, Mars. He's good.
Jeff Hansen. Ms. Ivy Cure.
Yeah.
As the Parks and Recreation Director, we definitely want to say thank you for your dedicated services to this board, and we know that the best is still yet to come, and we know we have some amazing things coming with our master plan, and so we're so excited. We're excited to have you guys on the board to actually come back to commission and give those recommendations. So y'all give it up for our Parks and Rec board. And thank you, Sister Kira. She reminded me that I must give Ronnie Lockins a shout out, who's gone on to be with the Lord, but she's with us in spirit, and we definitely miss her, and we definitely want to give her a shout out. Thank you so much.
And Eric, I think they want to take a picture. So
Yes.
just turn, no, I'm just saying turn around there. I don't know that we're all coming down, but
What would help is if you push
Yeah.
it back.
we could stand back here if you want. We could just stand back here. So we gotta come back this way.
To the left. Back it on low. Think happy thoughts. Happy thoughts.
I know.
Well, isn't this like off center?
Yes.
This is really strange. This is, I don't know, I've never.
Goes behind your head.
It's gonna work.
We have like half the seal?
All right, ready? Me first. This way. Ready? No. 1, 2, 3. Another. There you go. Wait, we need to get one more now.
Good evening again. This is the Parks and Recreation Third Quarter MVE Most Valuable Employee Award. And tonight, we want to recognize an individual that goes above and beyond the call of duty. On several occasions, she can be found into work early, staying late to make sure that special events run smoothly. The Gracefully Aging Senior Program has, on numerous occasions, have phoned the director to give him compliment after compliment as to how well and dedicated and compassionate this individual work to make sure that the senior program runs smoothly. In December of 2018, this individual also received her AA degree in sports, fitness, and recreation management. So will you guys help me congratulate and welcome Kayla Gardner to the front. Congratulations. Thank you.
Our next item is a city manager commendation to lifeguard Kristen McLaren.
So I wanted to let everybody know how proud I am of the Department of Parks and Recreation, particularly that July is Parks and Recreation Month, and it starts in parks, right, Eric? It starts in parks. So I got an email from one of our residents that she had lost a watch on the beach. It was a Rolex. And to make a long story short, integrity and honesty is one of the redeeming qualities that I always like to see in our employees. And today we want to recognize the integrity and the honesty and going above and beyond from one of our best here in the city. She found the watch, she returned the watch, and I just wanted to tell Kristen McLaren that we're extremely, extremely proud of you. So come on up so we could recognize you tonight. Thank you.
I hope they gave her a reward. reward.
So you know what? You're going to get that value of that watch 10 times over, right, guys? Right, guys?
I'm just so grateful for your honesty and integrity. I could not believe. Come on.
Is that the girl who owned the watch? Give her money.
I didn't even realize until the next morning when I was getting dressed that my watch wasn't there, and I was like, my goodness, I've left it on the beach. So I just thought, well, it's worth a shot in the dark. I'll go down there and see. So there had to be people sitting where I was laying. Of course, they hadn't seen it, and I asked at the lifeguard station, and they phoned, and they said, the watch is here. I just could not believe it. I'm just in awe of your integrity and honesty. I just couldn't believe it. I was so relieved to get it back. Thank you so much.
Don't go anywhere.
Thank you. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you, Kristen.
Next item is special event request from Ragnar Events LLC for the Ragnar Florida Sprint 2020 Relay Race to be held on February 29, 2020 from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. with an exchange point located at Frost Park, 300 Northeast 2nd Street. Are there any issues?
No issues at all. This is a great organization, a benefit to the community. It's not costing the city anything.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. You wait till there. Okay, the next item is update on the city's 115th birthday from me. I put this on presentations because I know we talked a lot about what we wanted to do and whatnot the last time. I just kind of wanted to give everybody an update as to what's been happening. I know that we had originally talked about doing a beach event, but a lot of people didn't really seem to be excited about that. And there was some discussion about expanding Dania After Dark. It may be in the November area because that's the same month as when the anniversary is. And because of the shortness of time and the amount of resources that it would require, I think we're going to go with the expansion of the Dania After Dark. And what I would like, if you all agree with me here, is that we'll have the city manager talk to our executive director of CRA and kind of figure out who's doing what as to expand it a bit. I know that there are some ideas that have been floating around, and in this way, it's not like it's all on one person. But one of the things that I really did want to let people know is that we had talked maybe about doing 2 events or 3 events or something like that. And I did say I was going to go out and get some sponsorships. I was hoping somebody would be here tonight, but I know that they are a little short-staffed. It's summertime. A lot of people are on vacations. We went and spoke to Tropical Acres. And Tropical Acres has agreed to sponsor a brunch, a champagne brunch, in honor of the 115th anniversary for free. It is going to be an invitation-only situation, and it's going to be for recognition, awards, that sort of thing, for historical issues, people in the city, that sort of thing. And we're going to ask for donations as opposed to charging people for things, because we do have some money that we can do some awards and things like that. But we are going to see who will donate, and any money that we have donated, the thought process is that we'll take that money and donate it to a student in Dania Beach for a scholarship. Ideas, thoughts? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
No, I love it. That sounds great. Did we form the committee?
We weren't, it was
Oh.
between vacation time and all of that, we couldn't get it
That's what
together.
I
It
got
was
you.
just not enough time.
No.
There was no time.
It's fine. That was
Yeah.
the, okay, so we're going to have one event at Tropical Acres and then one.
It's also their anniversary this year, which is kind of ironic. It's our 70th anniversary.
Right, they're pretty iconic. And then one at Dania After Dark.
Yes.
So those will be our 2 events.
We could do that. And I mean, you know, and if there is still interest in doing a beach thing, I'm sure we can do something small, maybe the morning of the Dania After Dark event. But that's something we can still discuss. Commissioner James?
Yes, I'm a little confused because at the last meeting, there was consensus to create a committee, and it spoke about the committee bringing back ideas of different things that we could do. I'm not in favor of limiting it to Tropical Acres. It's not a big enough venue that will allow the public to partake in 115th, and it's going to, while a free brunch, who doesn't want a free brunch, it's going to go down to who's choosing who to be a part of it. I kind of don't like how that's going to feel because there are going to be a lot of unhappy people who aren't going to be able to attend this event. And so I'm confused at what we're doing. Is this supposed to be under discussion and possible action? Because the only thing that we should have been discussing right now as an update is what we had consensus for.
Okay, well, like I said, with the shortness of time, this is really an event because of the global nature of it. It's really something that should have been brought up last year. And so since we have a shorter amount of time, we were trying to get a committee formed, but the problem is that people were on vacation. There wasn't a whole lot of time for this, and we didn't want to wait too long. So as I did say, and I've been saying all along that I was going to go out and start getting some sponsorships, and I had already been doing that. There are some other people who are also willing to sponsor as well. But this was an opportunity that I did not think anybody would want to pass up. I think it doesn't have to be exclusive. Like I said, if we want to do something the morning of Dania After Dark, and we can definitely do some things at Dania After Dark as well. But this would be an invitation-only situation. We can set up, we can make determinations as to how we're going to do the invitations. But I do think that there are certain people within the city, historical people within the city in particular, that I think need to be there. And you know, we can go from there. But at least this is something that we know we can work towards, and we have a plan. Yes, I would love to be able to set up a committee, have a committee come to us with a whole bunch of information, but that's just something that's not, it's just not feasible at this point. Commissioner Brandimari?
I would like to workshop it.
Commissioner Brandimari?
Yes, Mayor, I agree with you. There was no time even when we first brought it up to form a committee. And I don't like committees because you have 10 people on a committee, got 10 different ideas. And this committee sounded like it was going to be more than 10 people. And the fact that you went ahead and did what you did with Tropical Acres, I think that's fine. The only thing I don't like and get scared of is when you invite somebody. You may invite one person and not the other, and it can cause animosity and hard feelings. I agree totally with enhancing and opening up to even a bigger venue at Raquel's Dania After Dark. Why? Because that's where all the residents go.
And I agree.
Enhance it. Tell her that she can make it bigger, do whatever she wants, more trucks,
agree.
and blow it up. That's what you should do. But as far as inviting special people to certain events, that you hurt feelings on. I don't like that.
Well, that's why we're saying do
Yeah.
the Dania After Dark thing
Yeah.
as well, which is free, open to the public. Everybody can come to that. The other thing is more of a recognition sort of
Yeah,
ceremony
but it's
and that
making
sort of thing.
two kinds of classifications, and I'm against that.
It's not trying to classify. It's a matter of trying to recognize the history of the city and recognize the things that are being
Who picks
accomplished in the
these
city.
people?
We can all pick them. I don't
To
think
be
there's any-
recognized.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm sure we
Each
can
one
come
of
to.
us.
I'm sure we can pick.
That
a
I
certain
could
number.
go along with, but that we pick the people, not another committee picked by other people, that sounds fine. But please, I want the Dania After Dark, which is jammed, to be enhanced big time for this celebration.
City manager?
No, I love that idea, in augmenting and enhancing Dania After Dark, which is an event that already exists on a Saturday night.
Right.
And then on Sunday, you'll have your champagne brunch, and you all get to decide the volunteers that you want to honor, the folks that you want to honor that have made an impact on the city, and I think that you all can do it. So I know that I've planned events for, anniversaries, and this should have been planned more than a year ago. So the fact that this is moving with just a couple of months before this is something that I think is going to be really great.
Okay, so that's really by update. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, Vice Mayor.
Oh, I was going to see if Raquel could come up just for a moment and talk to us. Is that, just to make sure that that's something that's possible? And
Oh, yeah.
the dates, oh, yeah, and also what the date would be?
The anniversary actually falls in November, so
So
it
let's
falls
look
on
at
the
our
30th,
calendar real
but
quick.
if we looked at the
Just because
November date.
I don't want to assume that, I mean, I have no idea how far out you plan things, and I see it's 1, 2, 3, so that's like 3.5 months. So I don't want to assume that you don't already have stuff planned. So can you just talk to us for a moment on it?
Good evening, Raquel Williams, CRA Executive Director. For the 115th anniversary, if the desire is to move forward with an enhanced Dania After Dark, that would be something that we can go and talk to the event producer about and our staff to see what we can manage. I know that the discussion of sponsorship came up, but there weren't a lot of specifics on any monetary value. I know that $10,000 was set aside for this, so if that budget would be able to be utilized to provide for this enhancement, that would be something that I think we could do. Just as an example, based on the board's direction to move forward with the Super Bowl, we've already had a couple meetings planning for a Super Bowl enhancement, so the time is very short to pull something off, but of course it's feasible. It's not something that we had discussed at the CRA board meeting before, but I'm open to, making it work based on what your desires are.
Is $10,000 enough for you to blow it up?
That could be a light blow up,
Okay.
But
Fair,
Well,
fair.
and I don't know that we need to do a huge blow up. I mean, and I think if you get together with our city manager, assistant city manager, or somebody, and kind of look at some things, maybe there's some way that, this can be addressed. There might be some other opportunities that we could use.
sure, I'm open to meeting with whomever and make it work.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. And so we were looking at the November dates. So it will be November 9th, November 9th and 10th.
Okay, so the Dania After Dark would be November 9th, and then you're looking to do this brunch on November 10th, sometime in the early afternoon, okay?
Probably too late morning, early afternoon.
Yeah.
Is that good, Bill? Me too. Yes.
And I understand the concerns of my colleagues, especially anytime is something even the slightest bit political, and you talk about, picking people who would be invited to this event. You don't want things to get contentious. So I think as long as the board, the commission can work together to pick who those names would be. How many do you think fit in there? A lot.
Oh, I know. They could, it's because they're not open on Sundays, so.
Right, so we'd
it's a
have the
lot.
whole room and the back room. What would you guess that is, the number?
It's 300, 400, somewhere in that, around 300? Somebody? 300? There you go, 300.
300
Jim knows,
in
he's
the
been
back.
there. 300.
All right, 300 people. So I bet we can fit in 300 of our, what's that?
Closest friends?
Of our closest friends and neighbors. Yeah, I think we could make that work.
Well, we can figure out the details on that, but I don't know about, we're each going to invite 60 people. But we'll get into more details on that, but at least I wanted to kind of give an update and let people see what was happening. I thought it was a very generous offer, and it's something that, it's an iconic place in the city of Dania Beach, and so it also kind of goes along with that. So, in any event, and Jack's out of town, so that's why he's not here, and I was hoping that somebody else was going to be able to make it, but I know they told me they were short-staffed today, so. Okay, so that's it for that. The next item on the agenda is the Parks and Recreation Citywide Master Plan presentation.
Good evening again, Eric Brown, Parks and Recreation. At this time, I would like to call out BNA to come and give a presentation on our Parks and Recreation Master Plan. And this is the final presentation, and tonight we're looking to adopt this plan.
Okay, where's the mouse? How do I get it going?
Is it right? Is it
Oh.
there, or is this it?
The red one.
This one.
We already had
Oh,
a
oh.
master plan. We did this already, didn't we?
Joe, can you help him out?
Yeah, to the next meeting. Yeah, how long is it, ask him? What?
Good evening. Thank you for having us here tonight. I'm Randy Hollingworth. I'm with Bermeo Ahamil. I'm the Director of the Planning, Landscape Architecture, and Urban Design Department at B&A. I also have Alfredo Sanchez here, who is a Senior Planner and worked extensively on this project. And it's really exciting that we're here to present the final master plan to you and show you what we've been doing over the last several months in this process of developing a citywide Parks Master Plan for Dania Beach. This is really a great opportunity for the community because parks will affect every resident in the city and every neighborhood. And what they do for a community is absolutely amazing. We've gone into communities where the parks are sort of old and run down and not utilized. And when you convert those parks to new facilities, it is amazing how it changes a community. They become the center of neighborhoods. So there's a great opportunity here to change sort of the direction of the community and the park system. I want to thank the people who've been here, the mayor, vice mayor, commissioners, city manager, all of the people who've been involved with this process. I want to especially thank the city manager Garcia and Eric Brown from the Parks and Recreation Department. They have been absolutely instrumental in getting this master plan done and giving us great ideas along with the workshop we had with the commission, which was absolutely fantastic. We heard what you had to say about some of the plans, and we changed the plans because of that meeting that we had and the workshop, and also the involvement of the city manager constantly on us to get something better out of the parks. And I think that what we have here in the final plan, not only the citywide plan, but the park plans that we've developed are really going to be an asset for the community. As I said, I'm with Bermeo Ahamil. We are the lead consultant on this. We also had Ballard King, who did our needs assessment on this project, and also ETC Institute, who did all the survey work on the Citywide Parks Master Plan. This is the document here that I believe all of you have a copy of, the final document that is going to be available to the public, showing you all of the work that we've been doing over the last quite a few months, in fact. I want to just briefly cover, B&A is a firm that is working virtually around the world. We're working in countries all over the world. I'm working on a big project in Mauritius right now, an urban design project, which is a small island on the other side of Africa in the Indian Ocean. We are doing projects virtually almost in every continent. We have 6 offices, and our main office and our primary corporate office is in Miami. And I just want to, so it gives a bit of background on the company. We have a multidisciplinary firm, and this is something that we do a lot of, Citywide Parks Master Plan, park design, and work with communities to develop new recreation facilities for their communities. Why the Citywide Parks Master Plan? What the plan is proactive rather than reactive. It's to establish a future for your park system, as opposed to saying, well, we need this now because this has happened, or we need this. This is a plan that establishes what needs to happen overall in the future for the city. It is a long-term vision for tomorrow's Dania Beach as far as recreation, public open space goes. The value of this, it increases property values. There is nothing that brings more value to a neighborhood than a successful park. Not a bad park, not a noisy park, not a park that's inconsistent with a neighborhood, but a park that truly works with a neighborhood. And those truly add value to neighborhoods. I did a park in Tampa a couple years ago. It's Kate Jackson Park. It's in the center of the historic district. It was a derelict site that no one walked through. We finished that park. It is now used for the advertising of every single house in real estate. They say, this house is a block from Kate Jackson Park when they sell the house and the real estate documents. So if it's done right, parks truly add great value to the community. Also, they're a valuable instrument for the city to obtain grants, funding, and possible bond referendum to pay for new parks. So this document will be very useful to show you the people that you go to talk to get money, what the city wants to do with its park system. The guiding principles is that we would develop venues and facilities that are multi-purpose and multi-use, and that's very important to get the maximum value of the money the city will spend on facilities, is that they can be used for as many facilities as possible. We recently did a community center. Since it opened, The activities in the community center have doubled from the program we had set for that community center, because so many new groups just arose out of wanting to use the community center. So the more flexibility you can build into facilities, the more use the community gets out of them. Also cross-generational, we want to make sure that we're attracting all age groups from the community, from the very young to the very elderly, and all the different aspects they can participate in the parks program. And being unique and innovative. Parks need to be unique to the community. They need to be unique to a neighborhood. You just can't place the same park everywhere. Every community and every neighborhood has specific needs, very geared to the age group, the population, the demographics, everything for that community. And when we do parks, we go into the neighborhood and say, okay, what do you want? What does this neighborhood need? Is it a dog park? No, we hate dogs, or whatever. It's very important you understand what the community needs. And that's when the park becomes successful, when it addresses the neighborhood needs. The citywide master plan is a living document. It will vary as time changes. It is going to be flexible. It needs to be flexible. As new people come into the area, there'll be changes in trends and all different types of things. So the master plan is not something you're going to hold on to for 20 years and it's not going to change. It will evolve. And as new ideas come along and new ideas are conceived and developed, this plan needs to accommodate changes in the community. Because there are things that are going to happen in 5 or 10 years that just are totally unforeseen for Dania Beach. We don't know about them today. There's things happening today you didn't know about 10 years ago. So you have to be able to accommodate that. And also, as specific parks are built, the community changes. When your parks are improved and changed dramatically, it's amazing what that dynamic does to the community, and the fact that people now see what a park can be. It's not just grass and some trees. It's the civic center of a neighborhood. It's very important that as that happens, the community does change, because the neighborhoods change around those parks. And it's really rewarding for us to see what successful parks do. The public involvement process we've gone through, we had the commission meeting, we've had meetings with the neighborhood. That will continue after the master plan is adopted. It doesn't end now. The citizens are going, well, do we get to talk again? Yes. When the city goes and does individual parks, you need to go back to the neighborhoods and talk to them and get their involvement, because this was a master plan for the whole city. We need to now go into the city needs to go into the detail of the individual parks that you select that you want to improve as you can financially afford, or however process you go through. So the community needs to stay involved throughout the entire process. We have involved the community in this process. They were involved in 3 public meetings that we went out to the community, showed them the parks that we were looking at, showed them pictures and sort of a general consensus of what the park conditions were, and we got feedback from the neighborhood in those three meetings, which is very important, that we understand more about what the community wants. We, as part of this master plan, and it's a little unusual, a lot of citywide parks master plan are a document that you read through. You just, okay, this statistic, and this is what we're going to. This citywide parks master plan is different. It has plans, and it's not just a big plan for the whole city. We actually went in and looked at these 6 parks and did conceptual plans. No one's to get too excited about the fact this is the finished plan, because it's not. It's the plans that were developed to look at the programming for the rest of the parks. Yes?
I feel like I'm in deja vu somewhere. I thought that we already had this and we discussed it, and we even picked C.W. Thomas. Wasn't that the first park that we were going to do the pilot type of program on? Is this the same presentation as you already did?
This is a modified version. We gave you a view of the parks at that workshop. In fact, this is a presentation we gave, a similar presentation at the workshop, in which we then went back. We made changes, the beach park, we made changes to some of the details of the parks that we got feedback, but this is incorporating the new designs, which are not radically, some of them are not radically different than what you saw already.
I'm reading through the book, they're very good, but I thought we did say C.W. Thomas.
We didn't get that.
I don't think we went that far.
We did pick a park to start at. I don't know if it was, Bobby was on the commission. Right, was it C.W. Thomas, Bobby? Yeah, it's supposed to be C.W. Thomas Park as the pilot one, because say there's 6 parks or whatever
Right,
you
there's
say.
six
We
parks.
picked that park, I know we did.
Oh.
I think that was, well, that would have been before us, so it would have been before this commission.
It was before you, that's why I'm feeling like I already saw this presentation, and there's not much big changes, they're all good.
No, there's
Good
no
changes.
major changes. We
None.
have added Olson to this project, to these plans. We put a plan in here for Olson, which we'll show you tonight. But otherwise, C.W. Thomas, P.J. Mealy,
Yeah, they're-
those parks are plans that you have seen and that we have made modifications to improve based on input from the commission.
Okay, thank you, they're good
Okay?
plans.
I saw you getting,
Yeah, I'm
I
going
wanted to stop
crazy
because I
over
know
here
you were-
thinking I went through this before, was I dreaming?
you weren't dreaming. This is very similar.
All right, we're going to just
Oh,
keep going with the
keep
presentation,
going.
though, at this point.
Chesterbird Park being the first park of the 6, we looked at the existing conditions. Basically, the park has some real problems with visibility and safety. So we looked at how do we make this park safer? How do we make it more usable for the community? The problem is that people don't want to go into the park because it feels a little threatening that it's so removed from the streets. There's so much tree canopy. It's dark. So we came up with a new plan for the park, which would incorporate an interactive water feature, a splash pad, playgrounds, a restroom facility, which is required for the, it goes to all of them, good. The restroom facility, basketball courts, and also extended a road and parking lot through the park so that people then will be able to drive through the park, and that often reduces the problems with safety tremendously, because you now then allow the police to drive through the park, the community gets in the park, and they're not just parked out in the streets walking in the park. So I think the new design will make the park much safer, and also the design allows for much more use of the park by different groups of people. The second is P.J. Mealy Aquatic Complex. This is an existing park that the pool facility was sort of in need of regeneration, I guess would be the best word. The park also has sort of a dead space on the one side because no one can get near it. It's behind the baseball diamonds. It's sort of way back. We walked around the park, and you really feel like you're venturing out away from the building when you go in behind the basketball courts and around all the baseball diamonds. So we thought, how do we make this a better park, create better facilities? And so the idea was to take the existing building, and we would remove the existing community center and place a new one in the center of the park with a new swimming pool facility. This would also have a playground, baseball diamonds, a football field, and court sports activities here, which could be basketball and tennis and bocce courts, or pickleball, I'm sorry, and also reconfigured the parking to be more efficient. But what we did also is we took the parking around the back of the park. So it now provides access from both sides of the park into it from the community. I think that there's a potential here, if the desire for the dog park, which is there, is to replace the dog park with a new area, we could do that in this area and it would still work very well. The area you're seeing in green would still work as an excellent dog park. We just lose some of the court facilities. C.W. Thomas Park, also a park that, you know, it has some elements that were good, but it really needs a revamp. The community center is very dated. The pool is not at all at the level that this community should have for a community pool. So we looked at a complete redesign of the park and taking the community center from the east side and placing it in the northwest corner, new football facility to the south. We incorporated a new parking lot, which hopefully will release some of the pressure on the neighborhood, take some of the pressure off on-street parking, and bring it into the park. And also a swimming pool facility, playgrounds, and an outdoor exercise area, all in sort of an active recreation area. And all of these parks also have a whole new pedestrian system through the park that can also be used as dog walks. So we don't have to put dog parks because people can take their dog through the park. You have the doggy stations, and therefore you don't have to build separate dog parks. You can actually have your dog with you as you walk around the entire park, and exercise trails as well. So that was the plan for C.W. Thomas Park. All of these parks, we're trying to create as much multi-use as possible and to attract as many age groups as possible. I think all of these, I must note though, that once you go in to do the design of these parks, you're going to meet with the community. You're going to get feedback about, well, we don't need that, or we need, and that's fine. These are just concept plans that kind of give a good image of what a park can be. Because I think people see the parks and they don't realize there's a great opportunity here. You know, if you open your mind to new ideas, new facilities, you really could have some spectacular parks in the city. The Frost Park, a major park for the city because of its very high activity use. The 4 baseball diamonds, the existing community center, of course, all the courts. We looked at all the facilities. We wanted to keep the courts. Also, the community center itself is fine. It just needs to be bigger. So we came up with a plan that actually more than doubled the size of the community center over here onto the east side of it. We incorporated a playground into the treat area, which is where it is now, but I think you could really do some fantastic things with new playgrounds in that area where the trees are and incorporate the trees as part of the playground. We have baseball diamonds with a multi-purpose field. We kept all the courts in the northwest corner, but also add pickleball courts as an option. There's a pavilion here in the center of the park and also a water feature behind the community center. So it really has all different types of amenities to attract all different age groups. And of course, an external walkway system around the entire park off the street that allow people to enjoy the park and get off the roadway area. Olson Middle School is a plan that we've added back into the project because this is a site that has presently got the existing empty school. And if there's some type of agreement made that you can move forward with this as a public park, we decided to have a plan for that. It's a huge site. It has a huge opportunity. It's right in the middle of the neighborhood, so it's very important, and how that park works with the community is going to be critical because you have single-family houses and some multifamily houses, and they're right there. So this is people's front yard, and you have to understand when you're doing parks, you're building parks in people's front yards. And some people don't like that, but if you do it right, it can be done very sensitively. The plan was to build a community-type facility on the corner. This north is to your left. It's a little confusing, I apologize, but north is to your left. Normally it's straight up, but it's to the left. Adjacent to that, we had both a young children's pool activity area and then also a separate adult pool area. So you actually could have enough room to build 2 pools so that there wouldn't be interference between the different age groups, because the type of activities that happen have you ever been to a kid's pool? They're very loud. You don't always want to sit there all day in a kid's pool if you don't have children. And so I think this gives the opportunity for people to say, I want to have a more peaceful adult pool, and there's 2. There's also a children's playground and a multi-purpose field here with no designated use for football or soccer. This is an open play area. You can go play croquet, you can play frisbee, you can play catch football, but it would be an open space. Plus, additionally, we would have parking, because I think that would put an awful lot of pressure on this neighborhood if we don't provide a parking lot internal to the park itself. So that is the concept plan for Olson Park if you move in the direction of getting that site for a city park. IT Park Center, we didn't redesign it, but take a look at it because it's a very successful facility. But what can we do to make it more successful? The site is spectacular. I've been there. It's just, wow, this is really nice. This is a great place to have a wedding or something because the setting is so fantastic. And we looked at it, and there were some minor general aesthetics of the building could be improved. Some wayfinding to find the building. That's a challenge if you don't live in Dania Beach. Where is this building? Because you go through parking lot after parking lot after parking lot. So it needs some help for signage. There needs some kitchen upgrades and also some restroom improvements. But basically, it's a great facility that the city should probably spend some money to make some improvements to the facility itself. Finally, Ocean Park Beach. This has been all the way around the circle with the design. We started with some concepts for the Frank Tootie Park in the corner. Then we realized that there was a master plan. Well, we realized there was a master plan, but the master plan had been adopted in 2014 by this commission. So this plan has now been incorporated into the Citywide Parks Master Plan. This is the plan. We're not changing it. Okay. We've looked at it. I think it's a great plan. It has a lot of parking because you have a big parking need at the beach. It would be nice to reduce beach property from parking, but that will come if you can build a garage. And this plan actually looked at the potential of having a garage. And if you could do that and make it work, and be able to afford building a garage, it'd be a great amenity at the beach and free up some more green space at the beach. And I know the city manager we've got to get more green space at the beach, and we totally agree. But parking is also very important. That we did a project in Pompano Beach. We had to provide parking at a park on the west side of the Intercoastal for overflow parking for the beach. And they walk up a tower in our park over the bridge to the beach, because they don't have enough parking in Deerfield Beach at the beach. So That's a really unfortunate situation that make people walk almost half a mile to a mile to get to the beach, but we did that. One thing we did look at was the existing restaurant. It's a problem because it just needs work. I think the city needs to decide what is the future of that restaurant, how it fits into the master plan, how is it going to work in the future. As you can see from the existing pictures, this is not a great view for the city of Dania Beach. This is not the best premier building on your beach. What we did is we're going to show you some pictures of a building that we actually worked in Pompano Beach on the beach, because once you have a building on the beach, you want to keep it. You don't have to go through the regulatory process if you don't make too many changes. This was a storage facility in Pompano Beach on the beach that we were said, okay, you need to make a concession booth out of this. I mean, okay, this is about the worst looking building you could have. And so we did some concepts. Our architects whipped up some ideas and some conceptual ideas. This is that building today at the beach. And it's the same footprint. We didn't change anything. We changed the roof. We raised the roof. It is an incredibly successful part of the beach. It's right beside a big oval lawn, an interactive water feature. We worked on the roadway adjacent to it, and we did all the buildings on Pompano Beach. And this is one that we reused all their restrooms and redesigned them, and they look amazingly different. But this was a phenomenal change that we wanted to show you. The opportunity of that restaurant at the beach is really fantastic, and the city could take advantage of it for something. Another restaurant, a concession, or whatever. It's a fairly small building, but we haven't looked at the detail of the building, but there's opportunity there to do something. Certainly in the short term, until you get maybe the master plan built. Public art at the beach and the parks is very important to us. We try to incorporate it in all of our projects. This is just some sampling of how they give identity to things like Amsterdam. That sign became so popular, Amsterdam has now moved it out of the city. They just recently moved the sign because they have too many tourists in Amsterdam, which I'm going to in a couple weeks, so I can't wait to see it missing. Toronto has the sign, and California has signs. There's elements like this that really give a place identity, and we could incorporate that into the parks and into the beachfront. In Deerfield Beach, we did a gigantic 50-foot circular radius interactive water feature. The city got money for public art, hired an artist, went to the schools, and the kids designed the graphic, which is about 1 million pieces of tile, all hand-laid by the students on a gym floor, and then taken out in sheets to this park and laid on the ground. And it's absolutely spectacular. The water comes up out of it, and that's a piece of public art and a focal point of the park. So there's great opportunities. There is funding for public art if you go to the right places and you have your sort of your act together to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. We can do a great park here. Also, playgrounds is art. The whole playground industry has changed dramatically over the last couple of years. Playgrounds don't look like they used to. There is so much opportunity to design new playgrounds. The master plan addresses design criteria for new playgrounds. The challenge for kids today is so different than the slide and the little fake palm tree over the little stand in the corner of the park furniture. There's just amazing playgrounds today that challenge children on a totally different level, and I think we definitely need to look at that for each of the parks. It also gives incredible identity to parks and the community. So with that, thank you very much, and I hope it wasn't too much of a repeat.
Beautiful.
Commissioner Harris?
Thank you for that presentation, but having been at the last conference that we attended, the U.S. Conference of Mayors, the technological advances in park equipment, like solar trees and recording cameras and solar tree where you can charge your phone and plug in your car, and it's a camera and it can test the, the wind, the weather, the waves, and it can do all that. So there's a good opportunity to, the technology is amazing, what we saw, and some of it's right here in Parkland, so we can go and take a look at it. But those kind of things with kids, how many kids won't be on the monkey bars? As Chicky said, they'll be on their phones.
Yeah.
So, but that's our reality.
If you go to the universities too, a lot of the universities are now incorporating that type of technology into the campus grounds because students are so into working on their computers or their laptops, and so you can sit at a bench now at a university and plug in, and you can sit at tables, and there are companies now building things to be put outside that have all the portals and everything. It's quite amazing, and that tech and Wi-Fi in all the parks and things like that. So there is great advances made in that direction for recreation facilities.
Commissioner James?
Yes, thank you for continuing to work on this master plan. The only part that I'm still not sold on is the Olson Middle School property. I'm okay with everything else, and if everyone else is okay with everything else, I would like to remove that one so we can continue it and pass the rest and then continue to work on it. And I know that they're all fluid documents or in motion, but I don't want to approve something that I don't even like the concept plan for, or I think that could be modified to where we can be proud of saying, look, this is what we adopted, and I know that that may even change 5 years from now, but today, if I'm going to put my name on something, I want to be, okay with that, and that's the one I'm not okay with.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Brandon Marty?
I agree with her on this Olson thing. First of all, you hit the nail on the head when you said this big conglomerate is right dead center of 55 and older community that was not told that this is what you were going to do with the property, but that the city was only going to do one small area for the children. They never anticipated adults having adult sports there or nothing like that, and they are going to fight you tooth and nail, and us too. And there will be like maybe 5 or 6 different phases that will fight it. They don't want that there. And I say, let's go ahead with these others. We know C.W. Thomas, we know Mealy, we know all these other parks. Let's get moving on something, because I'll be dead before you get to Olson.
We can easily remove it at your request. That's
Thanks,
not a
remove it.
problem.
Yeah, but not as a front burner, back burner.
We could always come back and address Olson at a later date if in fact it turns out, we don't even know what's going to happen with it at this point.
Well, and we
There's-
even did another design, which we haven't shown, and then we did this design, so it has a lot of potential. I
Right.
think that's what the plan recognizes, rather than saying this is a plan that you're going to build. So, but removing it from the plan is not
Right.
critical to the citywide parks master plan.
So we could move to approve it without the Olson plan?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Sure, but I think we're all doing that already, so. Okay.
One last thing, when you talked about, Mayor?
You may.
When you were talking about I.T. Parker. I.T. Parker is a gem, but not for sports, because we don't even have the ground to walk on, let alone sports there. We
Tiny.
only got boats, lots of boats, and every slip is full, and we're making a lot of money there. However, what you said, you hit the nail on the head. The aesthetics that need to be done on that building are very important. We hold weddings there. We hold Martin Luther King events there. We hold all big events at this center. It's got an ugly stage. It's got a kitchen without a stove. I wish my kitchen had no stove. It got a bathroom where you got to walk through the men's urinal in order to get to your supplies. We don't even have a cabinet with a lock on for supplies. And my director over there and I will be meeting over there, and he was sort of like telling me about some of this, but you should have a stage there where they can put their performers on and keep it almost like a convention center there. It's a gem.
Yeah, and even the
If you
outdoor
can
space.
find it.
Yeah, we had a hard, the first time we went there, I go, where are we going, to a warehouse, or, you just go through parking lot after parking lot?
A lot of times
It's hard to
people will
find it.
call and say, I think I made the wrong turn. I'm behind a boat that says Mary Ann on it. And I say, oh no, right
Keep
next
going.
door is George. Keep going. Keep going.
It's a challenge to find this site.
Yeah.
So do we need a motion? Is that what we need to do here?
I think a motion, he keeps
Okay, so
continuing what he's doing.
Would somebody like to make a motion?
I did.
I will. I'll make a motion to approve the Parks Master Plan going forward with the exception or
Back burner.
some modification to the Olson plan.
Good, there you
This
go.
this is the presentation. I thought that the acceptance of it is in the consent. No?
Yeah.
Is it in the consent?
So you don't need a motion now.
No.
You need
Okay.
the consent.
No, we need a
Okay.
consensus
Yeah.
that we want to
Okay.
move ahead. Right.
That's fine, so we'll hold off until that.
That's all you
We'll
need?
pull it and modify
Yeah.
it at that point, okay?
Thank you very much for your time.
Great, thank you.
He's good.
Next item is acknowledgement of chamber atrium refurbishment by the vice mayor.
Oh, she did good.
I'll keep it quick. So those of you who are regulars to our meetings and to City Hall might recognize that over the last month or so, we put in place a couple of new changes. Yeah, I do have a sore throat. Sorry, I'll keep it short. So out in the atrium, you know, we've really been able to open that up, and we've done some changes there to make it more beautiful. One of our contractors who works here regularly, he came up to me, he said, you know, oh, I'm so glad you guys are doing this. He said, when your home is beautiful, it really makes the people that come into your home feel loved and appreciated. And he really verbalized what the whole intention of this was, that for those of you who are here, those of you who work here, those of you who are residents who are coming in and out to pay your bills, those of you who are here for the meetings regularly, you see that we took the time to make this place more beautiful for you and more welcoming for you. So I hope that intention translated as I hoped it would. Some of the things that we did, if you remember the big fish that was there, I think, Chicky, did you inherit the fish? Did you get that fish, Commissioner Bradley? Oh, all right. Well, the fish is somewhere, and now we have a beautiful logo instead of the fish. That beautiful brown divider is now gone, and we opened it up and have some open space. One of my greatest achievements. We replaced our American flag, which was down too low and was getting dirty and hadn't been replaced in decades. We removed the old porous couches, and now we have some, you know, commercial grade material that we're able to have clean, and I think it looks quite nice out there. And you know, talk about something good coming out of something that originally caused some of our residents some agita. When we took down the pictures, and everyone was very, I see you, Miss Sandler, and I heard you, Miss Sandler, and the rest of you, cutie over there, you know, who were disappointed that the pictures were taken down in the conference room over there. So we've done a couple of things. You see, we made the book. We now have them on the TVs. And as well, by taking them down, the idea was born of creating a historical society, which is crazy that the oldest city in Broward didn't have that. But some of the pictures that we had in the back, we had a really interesting one in the code office of all the mayors that had ever served here from the very beginning up until our most current mayor. We took those pictures down, and we're in the process of having them restored, and they're going to return eventually in some form. And, you know, to be able to have these things preserved and to live on for our children and our grandchildren and all the Dania Beach residents down the line, I'm just so pleased. And I really thank the city manager and Candido and Mark and Corinne and all these people who have come together to really sort of help us get that going. And in a couple more weeks, you're going to see more, more come up with that. I also want to thank Linda Wilson and Henriette Arnold and our CAC and all of our Art in the Hall people as we kind of scrambled to finish up this room for tonight. I got our new dais not completely completed, but we did a lot of paint work in here, and the walls were bare, so Linda helped us get some of the Art in the Hall artists, their artwork up. So I want to quickly recognize them because I'm just so appreciative we were able to get them up. This one over here, this is Jordan Cohen. He is on the third row on the top there. And this one is entitled Invitation. This is one of my favorite ones that we have. I love that one. This is Allison Eager. The name of the oil is Soar. And you can find Allison's work on that second row on that side. And then we have Peter Olson, some really fun work over there. His work is featured on the left-hand side. And for all these artists on the table, and we have some things propped up with their information on there. It's really worth taking a look at. Some beautiful, beautiful artwork. And I'm just so thrilled with how everything has sort of come together, and I'm hoping that we can work something out, maybe showcase on a revolving basis some of the artwork from our Art in the Hall artists, who we appreciate so much. So that is all. I just really wanted to acknowledge that, and I hope you guys like it and know that it was all done with love of making our home and your home more beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have a proclamation from Parks and Recreation Month from Eric Brown. You want me to go ahead and read it? Okay. Eric, our Director of Parks and Recreation, requested this proclamation. Whereas public parks, recreation activities, and leisure experiences provide opportunities for young people to live, grow, and develop into contributing members of society and create lifelines and continue life experiences for older members of the community. And whereas we recognize that quality of life starts in parks, and the three pillars of the value of parks and recreation are coaching, connecting, and community. And whereas, as we recognize July as Parks and Recreation Month, we also recognize the vital contributions of employees and volunteers in public parks and recreation facilities who keep public parks clean and safe for visitors, organize youth and senior activities, provide health and fitness activities, offer learn to swim programs, plan special events, present cultural arts programs, provide social services, organize youth sports leagues, and advocate for more open space and better bikeways and trails. And whereas the City of Dania Beach Parks and Recreation Department is pleased and proud to offer programs and services that enhance the quality of life for residents of our great city. And whereas during the month of July 2019, Dania Beach Parks and Recreation will present special activities to celebrate Parks and Recreation Month, and we invite our residents to visit one of our facilities and take part in these activities. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Dania Beach City Commission, I, Lori Llewellyn, Mayor of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of July 2019 as Parks and Recreation Month in the City of Dania Beach in fitting recognition of the Parks and Recreation programs available in our community and the benefits they offer. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Mayor. And I would just like to add that tomorrow is our grand finale where we'll have our big fun day with all of our camps coming together at Frost Park with bounce houses, food, fun, games, DJ. So tomorrow will be our grand finale of our Parks and Recreation Month. Thank you.
You want to take this? All right, next is citizen comments. We have quite a few tonight. When you call your name, please come up, state your name and address, and you'll be limited to 3 minutes. I'm going to mess this name up. I'm sorry. John DeZovi? Oh, John. I didn't know it was his last name. Sorry, I didn't know your last name.
John DeZovi from 41 Southeast 6th Street, Dania. Representing Lighthouse Community Church at 650 South Federal Highway. And I just wanted to come up with something to help the businesses. We're going to have a lot of local small businesses here, and as a church that we want a partnership with the businesses and to help with grief counseling, abuse situations in the family, to help with the counseling, helping with marriages, all different kinds to support our local businesses and their employers. Big businesses have HRs that can handle that kind of stuff, but I know the small businesses that we have a bunch here in Dania that we have, and I'm going to pass out my second draft of it. It's not complete, but we also, one of our major things is going to be our after-school students, and we did make an announcement about our mentoring system, and we are still looking for mentors. So we're going to be in Dania Elementary and Olson this year. We'd like to be in every single school, here in Dania Beach, but we need mentors. We need mentors from 11 until 1, Monday through Friday. And then on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we're going to also open up the church to do mentoring. We've got about 10 computers there to help kids with their schoolwork. And that'll be from 6 to 7:30. Okay, I just want to thank you very, very much. If you have any comments or anything, you call me.
Thank you. Thank you. I have not forgotten you. I could never.
Okay. Thank you. Next is Bobby H. Grace.
Bobby Grace, 110 Northwest 8th Avenue in the great city of Dania Beach, Florida. First of all, I want you to know that tonight was very historical for the city of Dania Beach, because I can remember when Serge, Gator, Tommy, the Land Boys, Patrick, all started working in 1990. We all walked in the door around the same time. And to see them here tonight with Karen and everybody else that was part of that historical time. They all have gray hair now, and I guess I've been cheating a little bit. I don't know what happened, but it was just so proud of me being in the room with them tonight. It really touched my heart. And I can remember in 1992 when we had Hurricane Andrew, and it was projected that it was going to hit Broward County, but then it veered toward Dade County. And my husband said to me, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting ready to go to City Hall. He said, well, how can you get out there? He said, it's raining and it's windy. I said, my fire department is coming to get me, you know? And we manned it then. It was really personal because we manned the phones. We took care of the city of Dania Beach, and those guys were fantastic. Now, I know the item that I'm going to talk to you about tonight is not on the agenda, but I just wanted to bring it up because it also goes back to some of the stuff that we grandfathered in before Sneeve Steiner and the Dania Highlight, and also Mr. M. Subs, the signage. I think that these two, and I'm sure that we have a lot more in the city of Dania Beach, should be workshopped or grandfathered in until you really change the charter or put an ordinance in on how you want to do this. This has been significant for the Dania Highlight, the Dania Casino for such a long time, and I know that Mr. M. Subs is really going to have the same problem when you talk about the signage. So let's try to work it out. John talked about small businesses, and we're working together, and these people have been in this city for such a long time. I'm sure there's something that we can compromise and work together to make it work. So before you make any decisions, please, let's workshop it, or let's talk to these people to make it happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Linda Wilson?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Linda Wilson. I'm the president of the Friends of the Dania Beach Paul DeMeo Library. And I'm just here to kind of give you a little outlook or insight into your budget process and consideration of your charitable grants funding. I know for years you've held it at the same amount of money, $35,000, and we have all applied, and there's many nonprofits here that do a lot of work in the city that help your citizens, the children, the adults, the youth, everyone, and we're no exception. The Friends of the Library provide all our programs for free, and we have a lot of things that we have on our mind for this year to try and expand. One of the things that we'll be working with you all on is the census program. We have a dedicated computer there in the library, and hopefully we'll have posters, and our staff and people who are there will be able to encourage people. And as you know, we have many, many homeless and semi-homeless people who come in, and people who need help. So we have that resource to provide for them. And it's an ideal location to try and do outreach to those who otherwise may not have a permanent address or something like that. That's one of the things, but I do hope that you will increase that funding, because most of us are not in the positions we were in several years ago, where we had more opportunities for funding. Business funding is kind of drying up. We're going to be going out on a sponsorship program trying to get large corporations and the many new smaller corporations, smaller businesses here, because we want to partner with, and we'd like to do it with the city's Park and Recreation, and also with another group called Pearl Girls. And we have met with Joyce Davison, she's here, and I think she's had some conversation with Eric, but we are planning to try and sponsor 12 to 15, it's going to be girls, aged 10 to 18 in the city, to try and build their self-esteem, to talk about cyberbullying, how to control aggressive behavior, and how to have respect for themselves and be comfortable in their own skin. It's an expensive program, but we're willing to give it a try. And I do hope that some of the funding that maybe you'll be able to give us additional will help us do that. I also wanted to let you know that, you know all the things that we do. But in September, we'll be doing Hispanic Heritage Month. In October, we'll be doing 2 different things, hopefully start the Pearl Girls program, but also in partnership with the Patch, we're going to do a harvest thing at the library with the kids, teaching them about growing and environmental productivity. All right, and then we were going to do for November, Veterans Day, even though we're closed on Veterans Day, we're going to do some program that's going to bring in a Coast Guard auxiliary person to talk about boating, and we hope to be able to, soon after that, do an AMO marine type workshop for job opportunities to present to the kids who come in there that really don't have a direction. I know that there's programs in the high schools and the other schools, but you've got to get the kids, you've got to really drag them in. So I want you all to know that we're here doing as much as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Joyce Davis?
Good evening, everyone. Joyce Davis, 500 Northeast 2nd Street, Dania Beach. Proud resident and founder and an executive director of Pearl Girls. I want to thank Linda Wilson very much for her support. I did have an amazing meeting with her and Chris and Carol, and as someone who has been an educator for over 20 years, I am someone who is a champion of the children. I taught 8th grade for 8 years, and I understand that at that critical point in time, children can go one way or the other. And it is up to us to create an education outside of their regular school education. And I want to be able to be a part of the library, a part of the Parks and Rec Department, a part of the city of Dania Beach, where we not only just have beautiful parks, but we have beautiful citizens who are going to contribute to those parks. And I want to echo Linda Wilson in saying that that does cost money, and however we need to do it, I'm willing to work, I'm willing to go out to the businesses, I'm willing to do whatever we need to do, because we are building such a great city. Our beaches are beautiful, our children. I go to the library, and I've seen it firsthand, where the teenage boys are sitting at those computers, the girls are waiting for them to get off of those computers, and we need to make sure that they have pro-social programs, bullying prevention programs, where they understand that they can have speakers, guest speakers from all of you who they can have and come to them and empower them. So I am just here just as a preliminary, in support of the Pearl Girls program, but just in support of our children and our youth overall. And I want to thank you for your time, and thank you for all that you're doing here to make our city better. And I hope that you will allow me to help you do that.
Thank you. Randall, sir? You got that? Okay. I guessed. Please state your name and address. I'm limited to 3 minutes.
I got that. My name is Randall Schur. My address is 309 Northeast 2nd Avenue. I'm sorry. I'm not real good at this public speaking stuff, so.
A little closer to the microphone a little bit. Okay, perfect.
I'm taller. I'm not going to. Okay. I have had an experience with, I purchased my house in 2005, and I've had a wonderful experience with the city of Dania Beach until very recently. what has occurred since January is what I would consider both, it defies logic and common sense, but it happened and I had a hard time getting it worked out. In 2009, I was cited for a sidewalk issue. In our neighborhood, there are random and sporadic sidewalks. So they were putting, my north neighbor was putting in a driveway. The code enforcement warrant officer, I can't even pronounce, hard last name, cited me for having a gap in the sidewalk that was grass. It was that way when I purchased it, and there was a broken piece. However we got to it, I got cited for it. How do I fix it? He said, you know, the concrete truck's there, fix it. But since I was cited, it continued. I never had them come back and actually inspect it. So I go to finance the house in January. Title search comes up with almost a $600,000 fine or lien that the city of Dania Beach has placed or still has enforced on the property. So I'm like, okay, I don't understand this. So I speak with Barbara, again, can't pronounce her last name. Horrible woman. Now, these are opinions and observations, and I will back them up by, I've got documentation. It has been an extremely personal, and it was taken to a personal level on her behalf and her staff. I walked into getting to the point where, okay, I've got to go to a special magistrate. So I go into the office to see what file they have on the property. So the angry woman sitting at the counter, when I said, I just need to see, you know, so she gets on her computer and very judgmentally says, well, have you ignored this for all these years? I think that's a bit out of her purview. I don't think that's her responsibility or her. So all of this talk tonight about this great city, I agree until I don't think you people have seen what goes on at a special magistrate hearing. Have you? If you haven't, you need to sit in on one.
Yeah. Mr. Sir, I'm going to have to cut you off because we are limited to 3 minutes per person. However, Mr. LaFerrier is over here, and he's the head of the department, and he's sitting there with his card in his hand and would like to speak with you.
Okay, I want.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, okay. I have had that person, the Donna person was,
I
but
understand.
then to get the
Mr. I understand your frustration. We all understand your frustration.
no, I really don't think you do.
No,
I
no,
got,
we do.
they got,
We
I
do.
get, they got the judgment, and I
this is
couldn't even
how-
go pay the thing. It
I
took
understand.
another
but
month.
this is how we can handle this.
I tried
I think
to
you need
come-
to speak to Mark LaFerrier.
But I tried to talk to the city
We're not gonna
manager
be able
to
to
get
re-
on the agenda to have more than 3 minutes.
Come get our cards
Yeah.
and we'll talk and we'll make it happen. Yeah, that's
Okay.
us.
That's
Yeah.
us.
But-
We're all here. Yes.
But come get our
Yes.
card. Call us. We'll make things happen.
I think,
Problems can't be solved in 3 minutes up here, but we
Right.
want we want you to have your time
we're
to
aware
get
of
this
it.
resolved.
You've made us aware of it.
The people that run the city hall
Mm-hmm.
is not
Sir?
friendly to the community.
Okay, we,
Don't go there.
okay, so, no, Chicky, no, let's not. Let's have you talk to Mr. LaFerrier and see if something can be worked out or resolved, and if not, then you know how to reach us, and you can speak to us individually, okay? We just can't resolve it right here in 3 minutes during citizens' comments. I know, but it's not this isn't the appropriate place for us to discuss it, so. Okay. Emmanuel George.
How you doing, Emmanuel George, 17 Northeast 2nd Avenue. Just reaching out. I mean, I've been kind of inconsistent lately with being involved in the city. I had a lot of stuff going on, work-wise and things like that. We're just basically just reaching out more so about an update on what's happening with the historical society and things of that nature, and just what other ways can we progress and possibly move forward, things of that. That's all.
With the Historical Society?
Yeah.
You know I got your number. What are you
Okay.
thinking?
Like I said, it's just been a lot. Like that's why.
No, because it's summer and things slow down, but we're getting off the ground. You and we'll talk. We'll talk this week or next week, and we'll catch everything up. And I know some of your ideas, and we'll continue to mix it up.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Emmanuel.
You don't even. You think I'll let you go? Come on now.
All right.
Come on now.
Appreciate it.
Too much stuff in that brain.
All right.
Craig Valentine.
Good evening, everybody. Craig Valentine, 1982 Tiger Tail Boulevard, Gangrels Wrestling Asylum. I'd like to say good evening to everybody, and like to apologize. Josh Crowder for the Casino at Dania Beach had to leave since everything was running a little late. But all I have is good news tonight. Basically, our July 20th event over at the Casino at Dania Beach was the first ever event the Casino at Dania Beach had sold out. So it's the first time. I do apologize to Commissioner James that her and her son couldn't attend. There was about 100 people that got turned away, but I'll make sure you know as soon as tickets go on sale for the next one, so everybody could be there. The casino was gracious enough to go ahead. They extended our deal. We're going all the way through 2021.
Awesome.
So our first simulated live pay-per-view from the Casino at Dania Beach will be our December 14th show. It is also going to be our toy drive show. So the casino is partnering up with us and the other wrestlers and the stars of the show. So anybody that brings an unwrapped toy, they'll get a gift from the wrestlers. And this year, we're going to get together with everybody so the toys are divided up amongst the entire city. So we have help with that. Also, two very important items. We want to thank the Lions Club, Jim Silvernail and Ron Casello, if I'm pronouncing his name right, I always spell it wrong. They did a fundraiser for us on Sunday from the Italian dinner fundraiser, also from our additional donors, our vodka maker who's making the Gangrel vodka, Murano wine. We raised $3,341. So since we have a program where we match everything, so since they raised that, we're going to match it. So there will be 2 students that will be receiving a scholarship. It's the Lions Club to select 8 students to come for tryouts. And the reason Gangrel is not here, if everybody saw Monday Night Raw, you've seen our students that were on Monday Night Raw that are involved in the school. They made their television appearances, D3, Ariel Dominguez, Celeste Bonin, and several others. Gangrel is currently at the WWE Training Center right now. He is the trainer there this week.
Yes.
So that is going to go ahead and roll down to the city of Dania Beach. Last quick 2 items. Commissioner Brandemarty and Mayor Llewellyn have met with these individuals. We were contacted by the publicists and the producers of the Peanut Butter Falcon. If you guys have not seen the previews of this yet, I know I pronounced the guy's name wrong, as I do everybody's. Shia LaBeouf, the kid from the Transformers. So it's about a kid with Down syndrome who wanted to become a professional wrestler. So he made the trip to Florida with Shia and found out that, the school was closed, but they trained him for his dream. The entire press corps is coming to the school on August 14th. I know everybody's at the League of Cities. So I've asked Bobby Grace, Marco Salvino, and I believe there's another former mayor to represent the city for the entire press corps in the screening of the movie that night. I also spoke to the new fire chief. He's going to be there as well. And if Lieutenant Stallings is still here, he ran out of the room. Since he's from that part of town, I'm hoping that BSO will be there to represent. And one other thing, which is the most important thing, would anybody mind if Bobby Grace came back up here for a second? She only needs about 15 seconds. This is very important.
Thank you so much for asking me. On October 13th, at the Dania Beach Casino, they will be sponsoring, along with the City of Dania Beach, our annual breast cancer awareness. It is going to be from 2:30 until we're going to have a VIP room We're asking everyone to please wear pink, and the donations will go to the American Cancer Society. And I am so happy that we partnered together to make this happen, because I'm a cancer survivor. I know that we've got over 357 in the city of Dania Beach. A lot of them cannot pay for the services that was offered to me by my insurance because they don't have insurance. This will be able to help them. And I am ever grateful for everything that everybody in the city does to make this happen. Let's fight this cancer together. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome, and we have a lot of the female legends from the WWE and former ladies champions performing on the show. I want to hit $150,000. I want to break your record of $100,000 for you.
And last thing I want to say is, Chicky, you're the best. I just want you to know, because she stepped up to the plate to help us out with this event, and she's in 100%. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Greg. Public safety reports. Late tonight.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. In the name of time, I'm going to save some of the things I was going to report on for next time. This past weekend, our crime prevention detectives participated in the back-to-school shopping event with the Dania Beach Lions Club. Over 120 students were able to shop for back-to-school items with deputies, officers, and volunteers. Jim showed me a couple pictures of the event. It was really nice, everybody interacting. Speaking of interacting, working with the city manager and Director Brown, we came up with an event that serves multiple purposes. It's a fishing event that will allow us as law enforcement and Parks and Rec to interact and teach teens about fishing. We had some great sponsors from the city. Bass Pro Shops donated 25 fishing rods and reels. Dusky Marine did the same. Anglers Bait and Tackle provided all the bait we need, and PDQ is providing food for everybody at the event. So it's August 9th. It's at Boaters Park. At least you got to eat. But it's located behind the Fire Rescue Logistics off of 42nd over there, right by our Rustic Inn. So it should be a great event. It's going to start probably around 10 o'clock this coming Friday. So I'll make sure we get everybody all the exact information. And I just want to throw out, I'll go into more detail about it, crime watches. If there's any HOAs that want to start crime watches, our crime prevention unit will come out and take you step by step. But they're not going to be easy on you. They want full commitment to do this because it does take a lot of time and effort. We just set one up out west here recently. And we're also doing active killer training for businesses and any places of worship. And along with that training, we're also providing on-site security surveys for that facility or for that church or temple or wherever it may be. So if anybody's interested, just email me for the details and we'll get it going.
You didn't push a button.
It's pressed. I'm waiting on you.
Commissioner James.
Is the active killer training, is it going to teach us how to kill the active killer or how to run?
It's a combination. There's a whole curriculum that goes into it. But
Does it involve killing the killer?
It's usually the run, hide, fight.
Okay.
Kill, I gotta know too. What do you teach you to kill? Raccoons?
Active shooters. It's an active shooter. Active shooter drills. Okay. City Manager, did you have something?
Yes, Chief, I just wanted to thank the chief. We really haven't been focusing too much on doing things for kids. And it was a summer, and all I had to do was have a conversation with the chief and with Director Eric Brown. They went out, they got sponsorships from 6 different local businesses, and now our Parks and Rec director, our chief of police and a team of BSO police officers are going to get together with over 20 kids in our community and do something really special at zero cost to our city. So thank you, Chief. Thank you, Director Brown.
Great. I also wanted to just make note of that Crime Watch meeting that you had people attend. I believe there were four deputies that came to that meeting, and I know that the community was very happy to
Great.
see the representation and to get the information. So just thank you for that.
Thank you.
For responding so quickly. All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. Do we have any polls?
14.
All right. That's the one to modify? Any other polls? That's it. Do you have a motion?
Motion to approve with the exception of what did you say, 14?
7.14, yep.
7.14.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Item 14, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, adopting the final version of the Dania Beach Parks and Recreation Citywide Master Plan, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date.
I would like to modify this to exclude the OSIN property as we continue to modify that and adopt the rest as our Parks Master Plan.
Is there
I'll
a
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Next item is bids and requests for proposals.
Resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, awarding a bid related to invitation to bid ITB number 19004 to Sagaris Corporation for multimodal enhancements in an amount not to exceed $459,199.40, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date.
I make a motion to approve. Item 8.1.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Public hearings?
9.1, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 17, Offenses Miscellaneous of the City's Code of Ordinances by repealing Article 4, Noise, and replacing with a new Article 4, Noise, to provide terminology, prohibit certain noises, exempt certain noises, limit the unreasonable and excessive levels of noises and plainly audible noises in certain circumstances, provide temporary noise permits, provide enforcement standards, penalties, and remedies, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date. Second and final reading of the ordinance.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Mark LaFerrier, Community Development. This is the second reading of a new ordinance regulating noises in the City of Dania Beach. The first reading was at your last hearing. However, there has been some significant changes in the proposed ordinance. The result of those changes were from the discussions that we had in the public comment that we had after the proposal of the first reading. The intent of the new ordinance is to sort of simplify the regulations and improve the capabilities for our enforcement of the ordinances. Our current ordinance is difficult to implement because it relies on dimensional measurements, decibel levels, and it also has varying times of the day for different standards. One of the things that we did is we looked at other regulations, and we found that the City of Hollywood has a very straightforward, simple regulation for noise ordinances, and we think this would work well. There's a couple of changes I'll mention at the end that we wanted to make. First of all, the first thing that we did is we made changes to the second reading of this ordinance with the construction hours of activity that we previously adopted. We also have a change that I'll ask the city attorney to speak to in a little while about it, but in summary, we patterned this second reading ordinance after the City of Hollywood's, which means it has a couple of changes from ours. There's no dimensional requirements, there's no decibel measurements, there's no varying in the times of day for different standards. The simplified standards for enforcement are relative to case law with terminology such as amplified noise, plainly audible, unreasonably loud, and uninvited noise. We added a property line definition that would include, that could be applied to multifamily structures also, and there's also an exemptions provision that allows for emergency public noises and alarms. There is a small change I mentioned a little bit earlier in the construction activity standards. Upon further review, we're recommending that you change that. Previously, there could be construction activity on holidays and Sundays. But we think best practices is to make that construction activity only an option by a special permit. So construction activity wouldn't be allowed on Sundays and holidays. However, someone could get a special permit if it was warranted to do so. And otherwise, that construction activity provision of the ordinance stays the same. And then there's an update that I think the city attorney will speak to as it relates to vehicles.
Okay, in Code Section 17-83, called additional sound limitation for public property, it's my understanding our police chief spoke with the Hollywood police chief, who's recommended that their experience in enforcing the ordinance has been very positive, but there's one provision that is in their ordinance they would recommend we remove, and we propose to you to remove it, and it would say that it would take out the idea of radio noises from motor vehicles located on public streets or property. I think that's perfectly fine because there's a statute that already addresses that. So if the police come across that, they can enforce the statute and not worry about enforcing an ordinance. So we would remove the phrase, "or in any motor vehicle located on any public street or property," and that's in Code Section 1783, which I would give to the clerk so we can adopt it as amended.
And with those changes, we're recommending approval of the second reading of this ordinance with any changes the commission might have.
Commissioner Brandemar?
Yeah, I don't understand why under section 17-85K, it says noise from a business establishment is exempt, which is providing musical entertainment within permitted hours of operation and is located within the Dania Point Entertainment District.
Yeah.
Why is that out there as a special,
Yeah.
as a special exemption?
It was previously adopted as a part of the rezoning regulations for Dania Point and a part of their design development guidelines, that they created an entertainment district that allows them to have different hours of activities and different entertainment activities going on.
And what about bars?
If it's in Dania Point, then they'd be afforded that entertainment
That's what I mean.
district approval.
What about people that have businesses outside of there?
No, that wouldn't be allowed under this ordinance. It wasn't previously approved by the city commission.
Public hearing.
Commissioner Harris?
For the record, I did speak to Vice Mayor Tracy Kalari and Commissioner Richard Blattner and the Mayor Josh Levy, and as far as their ordinance goes, a few violations, but generally very well accepted. Only a few violations in the entertainment district, which is down on Harrison Street. And, but generally well-received, very respectful, and not too many issues. There'll always be some, according to Commissioner Blattner, not too many issues. So, with that ordinance.
This is a public hearing. Is anyone here to speak for or against?
Nobody else can have a party.
You know?
Yes, it's at the front.
Okay.
Harrison Street.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the item?
I'll second it.
Call the roll, please.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brandemart.
You know, I'm not going to vote for it because I don't like the idea that the only person that can do this is Dania Point. We're a city. We're not just Dania Point. So I'm voting no.
Commissioner Harris.
Yes.
Commissioner James.
I'm sorry, can the other businesses apply on certain times to be able to extend? Like if it's a lounge, or can they apply for that? Or is that something we can change in the ordinance? Because I don't think I think she's confused me. I want it to be clarified.
Yeah. There's two approaches that you could take. One that Dania Point did, because it's a larger area, they actually created an entertainment
Right, I
district.
understand that.
And that's why it was approved that way. If you wanted to apply that in another portion of town, then we would have to create an entertainment district that could be applied to those areas of the city too. So it would be it wouldn't be a new zoning district, but it would be a provision in one of the zoning districts. Or secondly, there already is in the city code a provision where someone can come to the commission and ask for a special exception to have extended hours of operation.
Okay, I'm going to vote for it and understand that I'm going to bring something back so that we can kind of echo this with our downtown, because if we're enticing businesses and lounges to come there, they need to be able to have the same abilities as Dania Point. So yes.
Vice Mayor Odman.
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn.
Yes.
9.2, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the development of regional impact abandonment request, OT 8518, submitted by John D. Voigt, Esquire, on behalf of the Design Center of the Americas for property located at 1855 Griffin Road in the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date. First reading of the ordinance. It was continued from the June 25, 2019 City Commission meeting.
This is a first reading of an ordinance. The second reading, if approved tonight, will be at the City Commission's next hearing. This is a request to abandon an approval that the City Commission made back in let me catch up a little bit. Actually, back in 1984. There's a dinosaur of a state law that applied back in the 80s, 90s, and up until actually the late up to 2010, where if there were large-scale development projects, they would have to go before the Regional Planning Council and have interagency and intergovernmental review. In 2018, the Florida legislature abolished that law and allowed all of those developments of regional impact that were previously approved to be abandoned if they met all of the city's requirements, and that any other requirements could be supplemented with current regulations. Most of those requirements came from state agencies and the county agencies. Now those ordinances and regulations from those other agencies are modern, and large-scale developments now go through a different process, but it's not a development of regional impact. Well, our development of regional impact in the city of Dania Beach is the Dakota project.
Right.
So this is it's been a very good property in the city of Dania Beach. They've made a number of changes to the development of regional impact ordinance over the years. They actually made 12. Now they're coming to us and saying we'd like to abandon it so we don't have to continue to modify it and we don't have to continue to have it occur in situations in our business. So I think we all know where the Dakota is. It's a large-scale project. There's a couple of phases that are left. They have some remaining requirements with the state of Florida. There are payments of some small fees. When they go forward with any other development of the ultimate phases for the project, they'll have to bring payment receipts from the state of Florida in order to get the permit, so that's how that'll be covered. There were also some remaining requirements as it relates to water use and public improvements on the public roadways that'll be a part of any permitting that we do now that is a part of our normal permitting process. So they're just asking to abandon this DRI. It's a sort of a dinosaur of a old growth management law, and they have the right to request that, and we're recommending approval of it.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for or against?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Brandemart,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Odman,
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item is a quasi judicial item, meaning anybody who's going to address the commission on this has to be sworn as required by law, other than an attorney if an attorney's representing. So anybody, town staff, city staff rather, and any member of the public who's going to address on the Broward County matter, including the Broward County people, if anybody's going to speak, please stand, swear or affirm testimony given to be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Thanks very much. It's a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, approving the site plan modification SP 0813 mod, request and variance VA 8019, request submitted by Chen Moore and Associates, Inc. on behalf of the property owner, Broward County Board of County Commissioners, for the property located at 4980 Southwest 40th Avenue in the City of Dania Beach, Florida, as legally described in Exhibit A, a copy of which is attached to this resolution, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date.
Again, Mark LaFerrier, Community Development. The city commissioners might remember that this item came before the city commission back in 2015 for a site plan approval. The site plan approval was basically to make various improvements to the water treatment plant that Broward County owns on 40th Avenue, just near Griffin Road. And they're coming back tonight so that they can amend that approval and get a variance. The variance is going to apply for this area here along Southwest 40th Avenue, where they want to change the fence height that's being proposed there. 6 foot is what was approved. Upon further review by Homeland Security, they've been requested to put up a 10-foot high fence. It's a decorative fence, very attractive, and will be a nice addition to the facility itself. The other sort of fences around the rest of the property won't change. So they'll stay the same. There won't be disruption of the neighbors nearby. It's a variance, so there's criteria that are applied, and staff has reviewed those criteria, and we're recommending approval of the variance.
Safety issue?
Yeah.
Commissioner
Homeland
Brandemeier, do you have a
Security.
question? Do you have a question?
Yeah, it's a safety issue, and they're requiring it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there anyone here to speak for or against?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Brandemart?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Osmond?
Yes.
Mayor Llewellyn?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is discussion and possible action. First item is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Dania Beach, Florida, creating a city contracts policy, providing for conflicts, further providing for an effective date.
This is just a contracts policy that will provide us with contracts that are going to expire, that especially the ones that we have to decide whether or not we want to continue them or go out for RFP. This actually, they have one. This is actually a mirrored one that will be in effect for the CRAs also.
How far in advance?
5 months.
5 months.
Yes, that'll give us, I mean, we don't have to, that'll give us time in case we want to decide whether or not we want to go out for RFP or not. Doesn't mean that. It's just an awareness for us to know.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So do I have consensus? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Okay,
fine.
thanks.
We
I
need a
make a
motion to
motion to
adopt it.
approve 10.1.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Number 2 is expansion of plastic straw ban. Vice Mayor?
So back in September of 2018, before I came on the commission, you all had approved a limited prohibition on plastic straws. It had been done to specifically be anywhere that was on the water, like the waterfront property on the east side, correct? Oh, is it on the west side too?
It's everywhere that there's water.
Okay, wherever there's water. And at that time, you all had talked about, doing it citywide, and then, I guess the agreement was that you all would revisit it after a certain number of months and see how it was working out. So in that time, I've spoken to, of course it's on the west side, I spoke to the Greek restaurant, and over at Quarter Deck and a few other places, the Tiki Paradise Bar, and, we asked if there was any, pushback about it, what their experience had been, and overall, it was working out fine for them, and they weren't having any, devastating effects of their business or anything like maybe some people were concerned of. And since then, there's been a significant shift in the culture and what you see the other cities doing. All these different bamboo straws and avocado pit straws and metal straws and glass straws and everything that you could ever think of aside from plastic can now be made into a straw. So it's becoming a little bit more mainstream, not as fringe as it was. A lot of the only, complaint with some meat on it that I've heard is people with certain disabilities or something like that wanting some provision for them, and there's certainly several ordinances that allow for that. But, so my question to pose to the commission is if you still wanted to look at expanding it, if you wanted to keep it as limited as it was. Unfortunately, with the preemption, when we look to what our friends in Hollywood are doing, they're able to do more because they don't have those same restrictions we've had. I've spoken with our city staff and city attorney. There's unfortunately nothing else we can do aside from these straws. So given that, I would like to expand it citywide and see if we have support to move forward with that.
I'd like to ask a question on that, to the city attorney. Would there be any sort of preemption issue with expanding the straws?
No.
Okay, because that
If you-
was.
You may recall that the governor
Right.
was presented with a bill
And he
to
rejected it.
preempt,
Right, and he
meaning
rejected
prohibit cities from doing it, and he rejected that.
Okay.
So you can impose it citywide. The question I would have is, as the vice mayor points out, it's very limited. So when you say you want it to be citywide, does that mean as well to extend to just establishments that sell food and beverages? Or do you mean to include Publix, 7-Eleven, any place that sells straws?
No, our restaurants.
Just the restaurants, okay.
Restaurants, eating and drinking establishments.
Okay.
Um,
And then-
And I do want the exception in there for, and I believe Hallandale has this built into theirs.
There already is one. It already-
Oh, okay, okay,
It already says if a reasonable accommodation is needed by an individual due to
Okay.
a medical or physical condition, that's already in the existing law.
Perfect.
And I think we would also need some time to allow businesses to
We
comply.
typically give 6 months for it to be processed, so that people can be notified by the code staff.
And my last question is, the plastic bag issue and the reusable bags, that's a preemption.
That's
That
ab-
we can do nothing
That's
about.
absolutely
Do anything about
prohibited.
it. I just
I
wanted to
will
make
tell
sure.
you that Coral Gables, despite the preemption, passed a law. They're running the risk. There's a new additional law that says if a city passes a law knowing it's preempted, you're liable for attorney's fees when you're found to be wrong.
Oh.
They're going to be found wrong. It's going to happen.
Let's see what happens with
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, that's what we like to do, is let's follow your lead and see what happens, but save us the money.
Commissioner James?
Yes, I'm definitely in support of this, especially with the restaurants. There is a trend that people are starting to be more aware of the environment and preserving the earth. And so I know I have a 7-year-old that I know he has to live on this earth far after I am gone. And even traveling to the USCM, the United States Conference of Mayors, because they're surrounded by water there in Hawaii, there were so many different variations of straws there. And actually at the conference, I brought back a lot of the metal straws with kind of like the silicone tip that are collapsible, very efficient. And I think that this will be great. I know that we can't stop grocery stores and, doctor's offices and those types of facilities, but definitely making a stand. The only complaint I've heard is that the straws get soggy. I mean, you could just request another straw. I mean, or maybe you've been drinking for too long, but other than that, I'm definitely in support of it.
Commissioner Harris?
I was just going to suggest, Lauren, that when we have our joint commission meeting with the city of Hollywood, maybe we could widen our ban in conjunction with what they do, and we could do the same, do something in conjunction with the city of Hollywood and their waterfront restaurants as well.
What do you mean?
We're going to do it. Are they doing it? I mean.
They're already
They are
doing
doing
it.
it.
Already doing
Yeah,
it?
they're so far, unfortunately, our other cities around us, a lot of them are ahead.
Yep.
So we're playing catch-up at this point, but you guys, the commission was on board, it seemed, with doing it. They just wanted to make sure that, over these past months, that it worked out, and I think that everything's going in the direction that it should. And as a coastal community, we have a moral obligation to continue to press forward with this.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Yep.
So do we need a motion or consensus? Yes, yes, okay.
Yes.
We have consensus. Next item is a wellness program. Commissioner James?
Yes, I've been working alongside with the HR department to come up with and championing for a wellness program. They already do a lot of wellness activities there, but I thought us having a wellness program would be quite nice. It was in the backup that was provided, and it would start, when did we say, September 1. And it would provide Fitbits and a wellness program, and each of us could kind of have teams and, a little incentive for competition and the benefits of having wellness programs, as we know, the more wellness things you do, it could decrease our costs to the city, especially for insurance. And so this is a wellness program that I put together alongside with Benja from HR, and I know that the city manager has been working very hard to help us get this started September 1.
Commissioner Harris?
I think anything that we can do to add to wellness is great. We can take that one step further and maybe approach UFIT at Dania Point to see if they'll offer a discount to some of our local residents for that. And then we'll get with Eric and start a route for walk or silver sneakers or a walking route.
So
let's
they
say.
have one. They have
You have that
one.
already?
Yes.
And then let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, they already have that, and I know that Benja is working on different connections that she can get also to see if we can get for the next fiscal year to see if we can even get it discounted through the insurance to try to, get some buyback or half and half of the cost of how much it costs.
Yep, and I think United Healthcare also has programs that if you're a smoker and you quit smoking, I think you're rewarded for that somehow. So United Healthcare is like one of the biggest in the country, so they have some good programs.
So yes.
I think United Healthcare also has a thing for fitness programs, so.
I think that's who you're going through, right? That's who they're going. That's who they are going through.
Commissioner Brandemar, yes.
Yeah, well, seniors go to UFIT and all the gyms for free anyway.
Hey.
That's all included in our insurance. It's called Silver Sneakers, so we don't pay anyway. So I just want you, all seniors, if you're 50 years old, go to UFIT, it's free. And you girls all know that. Even, I don't know if they pay out at the Y.
I'm almost there.
The Y is free. We've got all free for seniors, so this wellness program would only be for younger people because our insurance companies also pay us $75 a year for going for bone density tests, for going for
No, it's not
mammogram.
just for young people. It's for us to
And
promote
yes.
wellness within our employees here so we can
Oh,
possibly
I
get
didn't
a
know you were talking about
reduction.
employees. I thought maybe you were talking about the residents because we've
No, no, no,
got
it's-
all those
it's for our
benefits.
employees. This is
No.
for our employees.
Girls, start marching.
All right. So is that a yes, yes?
Yes,
Okay,
do
great.
it for the employees.
Next item is Youth Advisory Board, Commissioner James.
That's another one. I started speaking about this a couple of years ago, and then, my first term, it was kind of like drinking water through a fire hose, and so some things had to be put on the back burner, but I'm bringing this back, especially after attending the United States Conference of Mayors, and they had a youth summit that we could have taken advantage of had we had a program or something like that in place that we could have utilized some youth going to California free of cost. And so I think that is something that we definitely missed out on, and I'm working with the Parks and Rec Department and a nonprofit that is going to help run this. And so I wanted to know if this is something that you all will be on board of having as a part of the city, a youth advisory board.
I love it.
My only comment on it, I think it's a great idea. I think we might want to call it something else, though, because I'd be concerned about with our other advisory boards, if there might be issues with sunshine and that sort of thing. But I definitely think there needs to be a youth organization of some sort, or a board of some sort. I just don't know if we want to necessarily call it an advisory board, because I'm not sure, and maybe Tom can speak to that, if there might be a potential for, especially when it's younger people, if it's people under the age of 18. I don't want to put people in a position, I don't want to put kids in a position where they could potentially violate the law and not realize it, that's all.
Not know it.
That's all. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I think we
It's
need
just
to
a
do it.
program. It's not where, it's not the same as what the advisory boards we have. It's a program, and this program also, I know that Director Eric Brown has done it in the city of Hollywood, so it's not something that we're coming up with that we don't have experience in.
Commissioner Harris?
No, I think it's a great idea because I talked to Carrie Cressa, and apparently they had one years ago here in the city, youth in government, so they did like commissioner for a day and shadowed a commissioner, and then
Sure.
we take it one step further like they do, and I met the mayor of the city of St. Petersburg. They have a very robust program. He even takes his youth in government students to Tallahassee to be a senator for a day, so we can identify the program and outline it and take it any direction that we want to. And I think it's great because then next year we could have somebody or a pair of, and a chaperone and a city official go to the conference wherever it's going to be. So yes, all for that. Consensus is, for me, is yes.
Me too.
Okay, great.
That's fine. Okay. Next item is beach vendors, Commissioner James.
Yes, I wanted to see how to go about getting umbrellas and chairs on the beach now and not when this RFP for the Dania Beach Bar Grill is going to come. I know we had them a while ago. I don't know whatever happened to them, but I would be interested in getting them back out now. It is extremely hot, and we have people that are going there. We can't offer them anything, not even an umbrella and a chair for a charge. So I don't know if you all are in agreement for that, or I don't even know where to start with that, but I don't want to wait until the RFP comes back.
City manager?
Yes, certainly. As a matter of fact, when you had mentioned it, Director Brown went and got information from our sister city in Hollywood. The Boucher Brothers are there, and they're very satisfied with them. The city of Miami Beach has the Boucher Brothers, so we could definitely contact them to see if we can piggyback off of an existing contract that has been out for RFP that could benefit us. We can come back and let you know.
Okay.
Commissioner Brandemar?
Yeah, I don't know if I should say this because I'm not sure of it, but I got to get some of it out. I think there's a proposal from the casino to supply the chairs and umbrellas free to the city as long as their advertisement is on the chairs and the
Well,
umbrellas.
please bring
I don't
them
know if
to-
you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't care what the
talk about
chairs
it. Craig,
say.
do you know anything about that?
You work with this.
Huh?
You want to come up?
A little bit, right? Because
No,
I'll
we
tell
can
you,
just
if
bring
we
the
can
casino
get
back.
these
Let's
chairs
just
and
bring them back.
umbrellas free for an advertisement, we're nuts if we don't do
Okay,
it.
I'll go meet with them. I'll go meet with
Would
them.
you do that? That's good, because
yeah.
I don't want to do it, I ain't got the time.
Oh, great.
No, really and truly, I'm working on something way bigger than that.
Okay.
But I can't discuss here yet.
All right.
Okay, so consensus, yes?
Yes.
Okay, I'll bring it back.
So you see Josh. Is it Josh, Craig? Who did she
Yes.
see? Yes.
Next item, local association meetings, Commissioner James?
Yes, last one for me for tonight. Well, when we passed the ordinance or that would cover conferences, we didn't understand that it doesn't cover like local luncheons. And I just want to amend that to include the local luncheons, because I know that a lot of us are ambassadors for the city and like go to like the Port Everglades Association meetings, the Hispanic vote meetings. I'm not talking about like one-on-one and taking someone to lunch. I'm talking about real associations, and I think that was an oversight on my part, because I definitely would have included that in with the conferences. And so I would like to amend that.
Commissioner Harris?
Is that over a certain dollar amount? Like sometimes, like a chamber lunch is $15, but a League of Cities or something is like $40.
Well, that's already,
Is there something in,
the League of Cities and stuff is already included.
is there, should we put a limit or a minimum on it?
I have a concern about this. I mean, that's what we have a stipend for, and we just increased the stipend significantly. The stipend went from $6,000 a year to $10,000 a year. That's a lot of money. And I mean, I know I use my stipend. I've been using it all along for luncheons, PEA and other luncheons, because that's what the ordinance says, and that's what we're supposed to do. So I'm not quite sure why we would need the city to pay for luncheons to different associations when it's, I mean, I don't know what you do with your stipend. I know what I do with mine, and mine is used for a number of things, and that's what it's included. So I'm just not quite sure why we would expect the taxpayers to pay that on top of everything
no,
else.
because this is something that the city has always paid for, and so it's an amendment. I am definitely okay with all the other million things that is covered under the expense. And that's why that was oil changes, things to your car, and office supplies, and all this other stuff. I'm not asking for the taxpayers to pay for that, but I'm talking about luncheons. Conferences are already paid for. Anyway, we can vote on it. I would like to have that amendment. I'm not going to argue about
We
it.
nearly doubled our stipend. I mean, it's a $40 luncheon.
What kind of lunches are we talking?
She's
The
talking
Port
about
Everglades
PEA, Port Everglades
Association
Association. It's $40, or
luncheons
$35 or
and-
$40.
Don't we buy a table there?
That's different. That's different. You're talking about the meeting.
Big one.
No,
You're talking
that's-
about the
She's talking
conferences.
about the monthly meetings that they have. There's monthly meetings, just like there's monthly meetings at a number of different associations. And I mean, yeah, it is more than that. But I mean, we make our choices as to which lunches we go to.
Okay, can we take a vote on it? I'm not going to argue about it.
I think I need to be heard on this.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
my concern is that, like I said, it's over $800 a month that we're getting in as a stipend. And again, I mean, there's no reason why we should be asking the city or the residents to pay for a luncheon that you can choose to go to or choose not to go to. It's not a mandatory thing. It's not something like that. It's an option. If you want to go to it, you can go to it and you can pay the $40 for the lunch. It just seems to me that we're asking one more time for the people of the city to pay for something that we're making a choice as to whether or not we want to go to it.
If it's mandatory, it's a little bit different. Or
Correct.
if it's a gigantic one, I'm leaning towards that only, but when I went to the chamber meeting, I paid for my lunch when I
me
go
too.
there.
Right,
I
me
usually
too.
pay for that one too.
Right, they charge me, I pay, so I don't know what other kind of luncheon I'd go to.
It's a lot of other luncheons.
Well, I don't
There
go
are-
out and eat that much then with you girls, because I don't go out to lunches.
Well, I make a lot of connections.
Now,
so-
if it's a big one, like you said about like the conference ones that we
The
have.
conference
that's
ones are already included, but the
That's
ones that
different.
the
That's
Port
included.
Association luncheons that,
This is
and
a-
that we go and listen to the kids, and we are a part of community service and all of the other, communications and all of, we network for the city through a lot of different things, and so I'm not going to sit here and argue about it. We vote up or down.
So what are you asking for?
I already said it.
Well, I know, but what, are you making a motion?
Yes, to amend it to include local
You don't need to be
luncheons as
snippy.
well. And I can talk how I want to talk. Thanks. Tell me how to talk.
I
That's
don't
my
want to
motion.
vote on it. I swear to God, I don't want to vote on it. It sounds so weird, it's unreal.
No, it's what we already had. So,
We
Vote
had
up
it
or
in
down.
the past that the city would pay for us to go to a
Yes.
chamber meeting.
well, no,
Then
the
I
city
want
is,
all my money back.
Yeah.
the city's always paid for us to go to these Port Everglades Association luncheons and things of that nature.
But that ones I agree on.
Okay,
because
so that's
all the
what I'm
cities
talking
are
about.
represented
Before,
there.
Well, that's
that
what
was
I'm
before
talking
they
about.
doubled the stipend.
What'd they do?
Before we doubled the stipend.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, Commissioner Brandon Marty.
If it's the great big one where all the cities are represented on, it
It's
should be
not
paid
the-
for.
That's included. That's already included, and
not
that's already
the-
paid for. She's
not
talking
that
about
one. I'm
monthly
talking about-
luncheons to associations, including the PEA and other associations.
Excuse me, did you run and
Yeah,
lose
she's-
already? Are you elected?
Can you
Thank
please not, both of
No,
you?
well, don't let
Both
her
of
talk
you.
to me.
I'm saying
a
both of
grown
you.
woman.
I
No,
just
talk
said,
to her. I'm sitting up here, and I will be
Commissioner
respectful.
James, Ms.
Mayor.
Sandler, can you please, I don't want to have to bang the gavel.
Can we
Thank
table
you.
this one?
Yep,
Because
I'll
I
bring it
don't
back.
understand
That's
it
fine,
even
I'll bring it
more.
back.
Okay, we can table it.
But I want to table it because I want to understand it a little more.
That's fine.
Okay.
Get your little peanut.
Next
gallery
item
done.
is commission access to city clerk's G Drive. City Manager Garcia.
Yes, good evening. I had a couple of requests from commissioners to have access to the city clerk's G Drive. Had a conversation with our city clerk, which is the official record keeper, and he had a really good idea in order to provide this G Drive to all of you. Basically, what he removed from all of us is the access to the public record, so we would have to always go through the clerk for public records and be aligned with best practices. Tom, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, it just, it occurred now, only because of the recent inquiry into having access, and it made me think about it, and I'm thinking, well, we probably should have, in the case of best practices, always had this, where the records, the public records folder was not allowed access to, even for the city departments, because for years they've had access, read-only access to the city clerk's drive. So, yeah, that's all.
So there's a silver lining in this. I'm glad that you asked, and we were able to find a really good solution. Because our goal is always to get the goal to get to yes, but to do it legally, ethically, and aligned with best practices.
Commissioner Brandemar?
Yeah. What are you talking about? In plain English, what is this referring to? You're talking way over my head, unless you guys have been having meetings without me. What are you referring to with a G what?
I'm gonna let the clerk talk about it because it's, you want to just brief
And
the
if you're,
commission.
if there's a person involved, I want to know who it is.
The G drive,
Transparency, baby.
the G drive is the
What is
city clerk's office drive. Every department has a drive, and Joe may be able to speak better to this, but I know that my department is the G drive.
On a computer.
Other departments have a
Okay, go
drive
ahead.
as well, where they have all their computer files on them, but they're a different letter of the alphabet.
Okay.
Nonetheless, we've had a request or two for access from the commission to the city clerk's drive. So that's what the issue is.
A commissioner asked you for it? Did you
Uh,
give it? Was it legal? How come you're all dumb when I'm asking questions? I want answers.
One commissioner was given access to the G drive.
Was it legal or illegal?
It's lawful. It's
Tom, are you going to answer this
Yeah,
or not?
I said it's legal.
It's legal. So what this commissioner did was something that was legal. Then why is it being brought up at this commission meeting?
For transparency.
For transparency, she did nothing wrong or he did nothing wrong. Did you do something wrong? Well, if there's nothing illegal, why is this being made an issue of?
Because out of the 31 cities in Broward and the 34 cities in Miami-Dade County, no one allows this. But we want to be able to grant it, but we can only do it by extracting this piece. And that's what we're recommending today.
Commissioner James, written first. Commissioner James.
Who did it?
Yes,
I don't even know what a G drive is.
Is this going to be in conjunction with the civic clerk? Or I didn't see, I know there were conversations about that, but I don't see that here.
I don't.
No, I'm talking to the city manager because I had the conversation with her.
I don't think they liked it.
Oh, the board sync? Yeah, we have no problems with granting you access to the board sync, but I want to put it on the record that you're getting access to something that is in a draft form.
No, I understand that. I was just saying why I wasn't with the other thing because we spoke about that. And I don't have access currently, Commissioner Brandenbarty, if that's what you're trying to insinuate or ask. It's not me.
Vice Mayor.
Hi, my name is Vice Mayor Lauren Odman, and I have access to the G Drive, and I asked you for the access to the G Drive. The G Drive is essentially, just to explain it in even simpler terms, is the Wikipedia of Dania Beach. What it has on there that I was looking for is it has all the resolutions. So instead of us having to go through the like the website, like maybe if you've ever looked up the minutes or wanted to watch one of our meetings, you go through the website. So this has all those things. This it's a treasure trove of all the information that helps us do our job better. And so the reason we're bringing it up here is so that everyone can get the access at the same time, can have the access to the, what's it called, civic clerk software, so that all the commissioners can see the draft agendas. And, you know, listen, we all work on different schedules, so there's those of us who like to start our work earlier. And that's all this was meant to solve. I don't want to give it any air of something that was, I don't know, something that was unscrupulous. But, you know, I think what, at the end of the day, it's the city clerk's drive. If he wants to make the public records folder, now whether it's unlocked or removed, whatever it is, I think that's perfectly acceptable. That's not anything anyone here needs. The part that we need is the resolutions, the minutes, the this, the that. So I think that's perfectly fair, and I appreciate that you worked on that to, like you said, to get us to yes. And I think that the commission will, you know, those who want to pursue their early reading like I do will be very appreciative to have that access.
Commissioner Harris.
But on the other side, if, you know, Joe Smith asks for a resolution from the past, all public records requests should be done through the clerk's office. Bottom line, that's it. That's the rule. Okay.
Correct.
Because, I mean, personally, I wouldn't even know where to look, so I would just ask
Right.
Tom.
Right.
So, and then if Tom doesn't know, then I'll ask you.
I think that's legally what we're supposed to do.
No.
Am I correct?
No, I
Yes.
won't. It's you know, our website, everybody knows, is a little complicated, but
Right.
in
Well,
order to streamline, I mean, I would always ask for an official public record request.
Well, I think legally, that's what we're required to do because we need to keep track of it. And I think the city clerk is required by law to keep track of that information as well.
So do we need a motion, or do you just need consensus?
I think a consensus is fine.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Commissioner comments. Commissioner Brandon.
Yes, I do have a comment. Bobby Grace brought us something regarding M&Ms. I want to make a thought here that I want you to kick around. I want us to please suspend enforcing the sign violations or part of it until we can, meaning the variance of it, of citing all these people, until we can have a meeting to grandfather in, like she brought up, a sign from God knows where. This is a long-standing businesses. We have to work with the people in this city. Years ago, I believe Ann Castro was, God bless her, she was on this commission then. We did suspend citing people about signs and all that during poor economic times. And I think that we're coming down too strong on businesses now that have been there since 1938. And I would like to see us suspend this suspend enforcing the sign violations. I'm asking you to do this until we can workshop it and see just who the heck we're hurting. We shouldn't be hurting anybody in this city. We should be working to help them. And I really want it suspended now. That I want you to think about. That's really important. Second of all, after what happened with this man and what's going on, and I'm listening to and here, it's about code I would want to bring up. A while back, we joined our fire department with BSO, and I'm asking you to entertain the idea of putting code enforcement under BSO. Why? Because they're on the same communication level, and BSO will enforce all the violations. I'm asking you to think about that, just like when we thought about the fire department and the police department merging as one. Those are two things I would like you to entertain, putting code under BSO. Let BSO come and make a presentation to us and see if it's acceptable to this commission. That's all I have to say on both those issues. So I'd like you to make some kind of a decision regarding suspending all these code violations going out to long-standing places until we have a chance to review the ordinance. Anybody? Huh? Yeah?
I think you said you wanted us to kick it around and think about it. Maybe we can bring it up.
No, I want you to think about it and make a decision now, because right now is when our businesses are being hurt. Starting with who was just citing McElye's daughter for a sign that's up there on Sterling Road that's been up there, those signs, since 1938. Exactly what Miss Grace was talking about. We've done something wrong and we must go back and review it.
I'd like to ask the city attorney, is there something that we can do with that?
Well, again, if you suspend all sign enforcement, I just want to caution you that you sort of have to watch out what you ask for, because that means everybody is at the Wild West. So if you, well, it could be, that's the risk. If there's no sign enforcement, you'll see, what could happen. It's your call. You want to do,
Listen,
you want to do that?
There's tripods on the sidewalk, and I'm going to name it. Docker's got a chalkboard on the sidewalk. It's still there. Why weren't they cited? No, we got to suspend this now because it's not being done properly. I don't feel it is. It's targeting people like M&M, Mr. M's. It's targeting, and I don't like targeting. So will the commission entertain what I'm talking about? Their lights are on. Please recognize them, Mayor.
I recognize it, but I think, I personally think we need to look into this a little bit more. I don't think we should be making a decision on this. That's a significant change. And I think we need to probably have some further discussion on that. Commissioner James?
Yes, a few months ago, I was actually contacted regarding Mr. M's and their signage, and I do agree to an extent that certain businesses that have longevity in our city need to be grandfathered into certain things, just as they've been grandfathered into other types of ordinances and code amendments. Maybe businesses that are 30 years, that have longevity of at least 30 years, we could at least suspend it until we come up with a ordinance that can grandfather them into something, because these are businesses that have been around since before I was born. And especially, it was disheartening to hear about the violations that big wall that has been there for forever, and all of a sudden they're getting fined. And so I think that if we could put an amount of years that a business has been here, that won't allow for other businesses, or it's just to go rampant for any business that's just starting, or it'll give us some time.
How about if we workshop it, like set up a time to workshop it, so we could discuss more of the pros and cons, and see what the options are? Because I'm sure there's something that we can do, and again, trying to get to yes the right way. I'm thinking that might be a better way to do it, and then we'll have more information as opposed to just making a decision right now at this point without all the information.
But you could, in the two cases Ms. Brandmeier is talking about, defer enforcement while it's being looked at.
That's fine. I think that's
So for
reasonable.
the McElroy property and M&M, Mr. Evans,
Sure.
hold off on enforcement while it's being looked at.
I think that's reasonable. Sure, and then we can schedule a workshop on it. Commissioner Harris, did you have something?
It hasn't been that many years since we redid the sign code, so, it's definitely something to be looked at, because there's all kinds of, I know in the city center, you can't have a box sign anymore, but some of the box signs have been up on the buildings for years and years. So if they were going to replace with a new sign, they would have to do something totally different, so yeah, it needs to be looked at, definitely.
Okay, so we can defer enforcement for the time being on those two properties, and then discuss a time when we can, maybe we'll just figure out a good time to do a workshop and discuss it a little more, get some more information, and bring that to us so we can hear all the pros and cons. Okay? Good? Okay. Commissioner Harris?
First of all, thanks everybody for hanging in there tonight. I know it's been a long meeting. As most of you know, we went to a U.S. Conference of Mayors, and rather than going into a lot of detail, because it was an action-packed, full schedule, if anyone would like to meet with me personally, I'll be happy to do that and go over all the agendas that I attended there. The one thing that we know, that all these cities across the country, large and small, that they're all very different, but all their needs and their requirements are the same.
Yeah.
It's water and traffic and safety and public safety and policing and gun laws and all that. So it was so interesting. I met a lot of really dynamic individuals. And so if anyone wants to hear any more about it, because the hour is late, I'll be happy to tell you. But it was definitely worth going to. So that's it. Thanks for staying, everybody.
Commissioner James?
Yes, I also attended the United States Conference of Mayors, and it was really exciting to see a lot of the other cities with a lot of other people other than the mayors that attended. You had a lot of commissioners and councilmen, and you even had executive assistants and different staff members. And I'm really coming back with a detailed number that I'm working with the USCM. So I have actual factual data to the amount of variety of people who attend these types of conferences. It was amazing, and like Commissioner Harris said, it was action-packed, and there is no way with everything that was presented there, just one person can go and get the amount of information. It was overwhelmingly amazing to see all of the infrastructure improvements and the technology that other cities are doing, and there are a lot of great ideas for us. So very thankful that we went. I'm thankful for the Lions Club. I was out there at Walmart helping shop around with kids, the less fortunate. They provided $50 each of free school supplies at the Walmart Center, and it was well over 100 kids there. So kudos to these local organizations that are doing great things. Tamara James Day is happening this Saturday from 8 o'clock. We'll be giving out over 1,000 backpacks filled with school supplies. We are having a health fair, a basketball clinic, and it's a totally free event. It is at the Martin Luther King Recreational Community Center on Hollywood. The address is 2400 Charleston Street in Hollywood. We are even going to have a zip line, so if any of you all want to come and attend, we have a zip line there. And I'm just so grateful for the growth of that as well. And that's it for me.
Vice Mayor?
First off, I want to welcome my new intern, Caleb. Say hi, Caleb. Yes. He's a chess champion and a up-and-coming architect, and he's all mine. But he's been really wonderful, and I've been getting him all caught up on everything we have going on here, so he could be helpful with our Art in Public Places ordinance, which is going to be coming up. He's been helpful in putting his doing some research for us and putting his 2 cents in of what he thinks could help round that out. And he's just been really great. So welcome, Caleb, and very impressive that you made it till the end. I wasn't thinking you were going to stay the whole time. So I'm quite glad that you did. And then my only other thing was, unfortunately, Jim Silvernail left us. City Manager, did you get anything, or maybe Bill Harris, about the dinner, the Lions Club dinner? Okay. Did everyone receive something about it?
Yes.
Okay. So it's the Dania Beach Lions Club dinner. It's the one that we're doing the ad for. I think they wanted to know if we were going to be attending or getting a table or anything like
Are
that.
you talking about the August one?
Is it August? Is that correct?
August? Is that the one? In the Marriott? At the Marriott.
Well,
I
Oh.
paid $75 for a ticket.
oh, you guys already bought your tickets?
Bought it my own self.
All right. Well, okay, then I guess we're all buying our own tickets. Never mind. All right, everyone's taking care of themselves. Thank you for staying tonight, and that's all I got.
Okay. I have a few things, but I'm going to try to make it brief. I, of course, also went to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I clearly did not get a tan. Over 4 days, I want to let people know that I attended, I think, 21 seminars, working lunches, networking dinners, because although there were dinners off-site most of the time, it was a really good opportunity to meet and speak with other mayors, other vendors, people who were lobbyists, a number of different people that we deal with on a regular basis that can help our cities. And then generally every night after those dinners, I was attending other functions with Florida mayors. That was a separate thing. So literally it was 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. minimum every night or every day. The topics that were discussed at some of these seminars were infrastructure, city planning, homelessness and housing, environmental issues, including recycling, transportation and communication, a number of different things. I'm actually, I've already started, well, while I was there, I was sending emails and trying to get some action items moving based upon some of these issues. And in fact, well, for example, there was one question I had with the recycling issues and the environmental issues, and that had to do with our hotels, because one of the unfortunate thing about recycling, which I'm assuming most of you do know, but you may not know, is that less than 30% of people actually recycle regardless of what you do, regardless of the education, regardless of the laws you put out there, regardless of anything. So that was a very frustrating seminar to me, but I tried to find a bright side, and so what I did was I sent an email and asked about whether or not we could require our hotels, for example, to not use the little bottles for shampoos and things like that, and instead have the reusable issues. The problem is, unfortunately, we can't, right, Tom?
Again, this state has a very strong lobbyist for the plastic bags, they tried for the plastic straws, and they have it for those kinds of things. So it's run by the Division of Hotels. They preempt,
Yeah.
they control.
And it's frustrating. Again, it's that preemption issue, and it's that's something that we need to deal with Tallahassee on and try to get the legislature to change that. Try to get our representatives and our governor to change that, which I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. But, things like that. And there are some other items that I met with a lot of vendors as well that had a lot of different ideas for things that are actually being done in other cities that we can take advantage of for free in some cases, and other things that we can work with potentially other cities on and maybe do more of a global project. But I'm working on those things. I'm trying to see what we can do and what we can't do. And then hopefully we'll have some of those action items coming before the commission over the next couple of months. I know there's some issues involving pets, for example, that I think somebody is working on, right, Candido? Okay. And I also found that some of these items are things that not only are they using in Honolulu, but they're also using in some of our cities here in Florida. Like Tampa, for example, has a similar program to something that they were using out there dealing with city ID cards that are not what they sound like. They're really good. So anyway, so looking into a few different things and we're trying to move those forward. In addition to that, I also met with, I don't even know how many mayors. I'm still going through the cards and sending out letters and talking to them. But there were quite a few from Florida. We did take a photograph of all the Florida mayors, and we're going to make it a regular thing whenever we're at a conference together where we're all going to take photos together. I did post it on Facebook. If you don't have it, I'm happy to share it with you. It's really very nice. But there were also mayors from all over the place. I met, just some of them were Columbia, South Carolina, Plainfield, New Jersey, Rochester Hills, Michigan, Los Angeles, Tampa, New Orleans, Port St. Lucie. There were a ton from Washington and Oregon, and I again, still going through all the cards and sending out the notices. And interesting, like Bill said, it's the same issues everywhere. I found very interesting at an infrastructure meeting I was with the mayor of New Orleans, same thing, infrastructure, dealing with pipes that are 100 years old and trying to replace them and figuring out so you don't have flooding issues and that sort of thing. Much larger city, they obviously have different issues than we do, but it's still the same things over and over again. And some of the ways that they were finding funding in order to fix these things. So there's definitely potential there for funding as well. And again, like I said, I've got lots of materials. I'm working on different action items and trying to pass that along. Another thing, when I came back, a couple weeks ago, I think it was, I found out at the very last minute, because it wasn't really publicized widely, that one of our local churches, Dania Beach, or Dania, what is it? The one with Pastor Jarrett. He's not there any longer. He's now moved over. He's sharing space with Community Bible. But in any event, he made arrangements with an organization that basically gets donations from a number of different companies to give out free food. He had donations from Cheney Brothers. They had donations from Pepperidge Farms. They had, I don't even remember all the places, but there was a very nice organized event that took place right on their property on Third Terrace, and there were people from all over coming, but there were lots of people from the neighborhood, but lots of people from all over coming just to get free food. They had apples. They had, the produce was amazing. I couldn't believe all the produce that came from Cheney Brothers. And there were tons of people that were coming there and just being given free food, as much as they needed. It's an organization that it's donations given. They don't ask for anything. All they want is a place to set up, and they do it. There's going to be more of these. And it's not just food. There's other things that they do as well. So the next time that one comes up, this was literally a very last minute thing. I just happened to see something about it, found out about it, and started trying to promote it and trying to get people there. But it was very successful, and hopefully there will be more of those in the future. So I'm looking forward to seeing what else we can do, what else they can do, and we'll definitely share it so that the rest of the city gets more notice about it and can show up. I also went to the commissioning of the USS Paul Ignatius this past weekend. Each of the mayors that's involved with the port was invited to go to this. It was a wonderful event. It was very well attended, And it was an honor to be a representative of the city of Dania Beach. So, and they actually gave us this book that's really very nice, and we all sent letters as well congratulating them. If anybody would like to see it, you're welcome to see it. But it was a very nice event, and it was we were represented, so which was good, and they knew who we were. So that's always a plus. With that, I don't think I have anything else. I see I have a couple of lights here, and I'm not sure. Commissioner Harris?
I just heard about something today that a lot of people would be interested in. I hire a cleaning service for our office and things like that, and they started a new program called Cleaning for a Reason. And if you're suffering from maybe a hospital stay or you've had cancer or something, we can contact them, and basically when you get home from the hospital and you want everything fresh and clean, they'll come and clean your house for you for free. And to a lot of people,
There's a lot of
that's a
things like
great
that out there.
benefit,
It is.
especially Catholic Health Services I know does that, so, keep that in mind. If you know anybody that needs cleaning service, they call it Cleaning for a Reason, and, I think it's a great benefit. It was very touching.
Commissioner Brandemari, did you have something to add?
I noticed you said homeless was a big thing, huh?
Yes, actually, I met with, there's a really good program out in Arizona, Glendale, Arizona, and I met with the mayor specifically about that after he did his presentation, and I'm actually setting up some meetings already with other mayors locally to see if there's something that they might be able to do. They have an excellent program that is, they basically will go around in the mornings and they will find homeless people, and they know of places where they need work and they need workers, and they will ask them if they want to work. They have to fill out a form and basically explain why it is that they're not working, and if they want to work, would they be willing to do this type of work. So and they have to sign the form. So they go, and they'll take them for the day. They'll get paid for the day by whatever the business is, and then they will, in turn, at the end of the day, come back and say, well, this is the reason why you said you couldn't work. We have this person you can meet with, and we can fix that problem for you. So then you can work again. So they're providing the resources, and they're also providing the work for the individuals, and it's not paid for by the city. It's just the only thing that the city provides is they provide the transportation. They have vans that basically pick people up and drop them off, and they have workers that will come out and do it. A lot of people volunteer. It's a good program. I had a lengthy conversation with the mayor from Glendale, and I'm continuing to talk to him about it and trying to see if there are some things we can do with that.
We have some churches that would be interested in helping out. Like
We have a
that.
lot of very wonderful people in the city who volunteer and do a lot of really good things, and this is something that I think, this is one of those programs that I had heard about. It wasn't exactly like this, but it's something very similar, and that's the kind of program that I was really trying to focus on.
Good.
So, yeah, so there's some potential there. It's one of many things. Like I said, there's a lot of different programs out there, and there's a lot of information, and talking to the various mayors, I've gotten several letters from people as well, because we, made some very good connections. The mayor of Dallas was wonderful. Spent a lot of time chatting with him. He's brand new. He was 11 days on the job when he was out there. But very, very interesting, and had a lot of really good ideas. So, in any event, that's it for me. What's our next item? Was the no appointments for once. Administrator report, city manager.
Yes, I'm going to defer the majority of my agenda, but I need a couple of dates that I have available that have been given to me by our labor attorney. We need to meet to discuss bargaining in the AFSCME contract. So we have Monday, August the 12th, available all day, or Tuesday, August the 13th, available all day. So I just need you to give me a date and a good time for you guys, and I'll make it happen. So
How long of a time block is this?
probably like an hour and a half would be good.
I'm sorry, and you said,
Monday, August the 12th, or Tuesday, the 13th of August.
I have to ask, why are we going to meet with this labor lawyer when we're all going to be together in labor negotiations?
Well, this is the in the shade negotiation that you could do together. The only way to do it is to do it in the shade. Tommy, if you want to just...
Yeah, I know, but it's individually, isn't it?
No, it's together.
No, it's a commission meeting that's exempt from the Sunshine Law.
Right.
You've gone to a couple of these before.
Yep.
It's where you can talk about what you want to offer or proposed to the bargaining units. And it doesn't need to be in the public eye. so that it's permitted under state law.
I'm free either day.
I'm free both of those days, but I can't do the morning.
Okay, you'd like to do the afternoon?
The only day that I can do is the 13th, the 12th, I'm completely booked. But the 13th, I think do we have a commission meeting that day, or is that one
No.
canceled?
No, we don't.
Okay. I can do the 13th anytime after 11.
Vice Mayor?
I can do like 11:30 or 12,
Do you want to do?
or 12:30, and that's it.
You want to do, let's say, 12 to 1:30? Would that be good for you
That would be good for me. What about
works
you
for me.
guys?
on the 13th?
No, that's the 13th.
I'm not available
That's the day
to,
before we leave for Orlando.
It's the day
I'm not
before we-
available at noon on the 13th. I have open house with my son.
Can you do a little later in the afternoon?
Yes, but
How-
can
how-
do it on
How late
Monday.
do you need to be?
I can't do it on Monday, my entire day is booked on Monday.
How late, Commissioner James?
I mean, I can leave open house at 1, but
Want to do 1:33? Can you?
1:30 to 3? Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, so 1:30 to 3, and maybe we'll just limit it to an hour, but let's just put 1:30 to 3 on Monday.
no.
Wait,
I'm sorry,
that's-
Tuesday, August the 13th. Tuesday, August the 13th, 1:30 to 3, calendar that.
No. Oh, if it's 2 o'clock, yeah.
You want to do 2 o'clock?
Can you?
You want to do 2 o'clock?
Yes, I can do 2 to 3:30 easy.
Okay, so 2 to 3?
2 to 3?
2 to
That's fine.
3:30. Well,
2 to
No,
3.
2 to 3.
Yeah.
2 to 3, Tuesday, August the 13th.
Okay.
That's wrong.
August the 13th from 2 to 3.
You got it.
Because we leave the next day for school
We
in
do.
Orlando.
Yeah, we do. Okay, that's perfect. The only other thing that I wanted to report, that we have been advancing our communication with Kimco to also have, in addition to our police fire station with BSO, to also have a fire station, a substation there for fire and EMS. So as we get closer to an agreement, I will bring this forward to you. But we're very positive about the dialogue that we've been having with them. And this concludes my report.
City Attorney?
Nothing to add.
City Clerk, reminders?
Couple upcoming meeting reminders coming up. Tuesday, August 20th is a CRA workshop at 4:30. I just missed your August 13th meeting you said. It's in Shade meeting from 2 to 3, August 13th. That's a Tuesday as well. Then following that, Tuesday, August 20th, CRA workshop at 4:30. Then Tuesday, August 27th at 5:30 is your CRA board meeting, followed by a regular city commission meeting at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Why don't you just put a bed here?
With that, we're adjourned.
Resuming the
No, we're
CRA.
not adjourned.
Just we need to discuss, do we want to go ahead and move forward with the rest of the CRA meeting tonight, or do we want to reschedule for another day? It's 10:19.
Raquel, you got anything pressing? Okay.
No, I agree.
It's up to the people who have the items.
I don't
isn't it?
know. Can I just speak?
Yeah. I don't
just
have any
think-
items.
I really think that regardless of whatever items are on there, it's really unfair
No, I agree.
to rush one of our meetings, and this one's lasted 3 hours, and we didn't rush this one. So if we could do it and not wait an entire month, because
Agree.
yeah, a special CRA meeting.
When do we have scheduled the other CRA, the workshop? That's on the 20th?
Wait a minute, what do we got? Come on.
That's in 4
Whatever you
weeks.
guys want to do, I'll do.
Yeah, because I'm tired.
So can we do a date next week
Wait,
for
we got the shade meeting already on the 13th.
next week? Next week is the
Wait a
week
minute,
of the 5th through the 9th.
That's a good idea, Commissioner Brandon. What if we did it the same day as the Shade meeting? Did it right after that?
That's fine with, you mean, just stay
No.
after.
13th.
3 o'clock, I don't care.
Wait, what?
Are you able to do that, Lo Lauren? That's the 13th. You're already saying that you couldn't.
No, I
Right,
can't. I can't.
Right. So, no.
Can you do it before 2?
Well, I know we had a problem with next week and trying to schedule the CRA meeting.
I can do it at 1.
Okay, I could do it at 1, I'll do it for you.
On which
Okay.
day?
On the 13th,
13th.
at 1 o'clock before the
Shade meeting.
Can you, Tamara?
Yeah, I'll just
Bill,
leave
can
open
you?
house.
Oh, that's the open
I'll just
house,
leave
yeah.
open house
Oh,
early.
no.
I'll just leave it early. I just need to go meet my son's teacher.
All right, so
right.
that's 2 meetings again. By the way, I want to make a comment. Don't never do this again.
Okay.
There's 3 meetings in one day. Been here since 4 o'clock this afternoon. Don't ever do it again. If you do, don't involve me in your CRA meetings, period.
Continuation of
Okay.
CR.
So the 13th?
That was hard today, I'll
At
tell
1
you.
o'clock?
1 o'clock, yeah. So we'll go right
I
from
will
there.
go from 1 o'clock all the way on to 3.
To 3, and then we'll be done.
That's okay with me, I'll be here.
I'll have some snacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll still have chicken left over.
Cold chicken.
What?
All right, done.
Hold on. It's a continuation of the meeting from today.
We'll
But
adjourn
that's
this
all,
meeting.
Not a whole meeting from beginning to end. It's just what we missed. Is it? Mayor,
It's
is
it's
it
the
what we
it's the
missed?
continuation of the meeting from
continuation.
today.
Yes. Okay. I
So
agree.
we ended it with the consent agenda, and then we just have the remaining. I think there were some discussion items.
That's only fair. It wasn't fair what happened with you, so. Is it legal? I don't care if it is.
Is it legal? It's fine. Okay? And this way everybody can
Is
leave.
that all right with you, Raquel?
Thank you.
I gotta make sure.
She is so done with us right now.
Plenty of chicken if you guys want a snack. Good night, clerk.
Well, what meeting's coming first? No, but I mean, we have one for, just, yeah, just leave it. Just pick up the loose ones. Did we adjourn? Gotcha.